4th down and 6. Olbridge gotta have it. Shotgun formation. Nugent, a lot of time. Rolls out. He's running out of space. Will roll the other way. They look, corner of the end zone. Touchdown!
Rowan heading for the touchpad with the lead. And the Profs will take the men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
Andrews will be in shotgun. He takes the snap, makes the handoff. He'll throw it down the left sideline. He's got a wide open receiver. He's got the touchdown.
Motion man is Simmons. Trotman throwing towards Simmons down the field, and he makes the catch in traffic for a Bearcats touchdown.
Back to pass, middle of the field. The catch is made by Britt. She's off to the races at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Britt is in for the score.
Back on in, here's Yoxon. Yoxon to the backhand, trying to go to the front, makes the move and shot, and he scores!
Gracie comes set and delivers. And that's it on the ground to second. Throw to first, in time, and the ball game is over. South Shore survives a late scare, and they are the 2024 New York State Little League Baseball champions. Live from the Sonny Werblin Recreation Center on the campus of Rutgers University, the PDF Sports Network welcomes you into Night 3 coverage of the 2025 Metropolitan Conference Swimming and Diving Championship. This evening, on our final night of finals, we will open with our senior walk. That is set to get underway within the next 5 minutes. We will turn it over to public address at that time and bring you full coverage of the senior walk once it begins. But until then, my name is Joe Foreman, joined once again tonight by my broadcast partner, Joe Calabrese. And Joe, there is plenty to look forward to tonight, of course, including our senior walk. However, a very, very tight meet on the women's side at the top of the standings. Let's talk some more about that.
Absolutely. So entering tonight, it is Roberts Wesleyan University who's in the lead by just 12 points, 684 total on the weekend so far. Baruch College is finished right now in second place at 672, and in third is Gordon College at 604. Joe, yesterday we ended with the women's and the men's 800-yard relays, and Roberts Wesleyan with the upsets, the women's side of things, and we thought it was a little bit of an upset, and it turns out, based on the results of that race, that they had enough points to push them into first place on this Sunday. So we will see if their slimmest of leads will be able to hold as Sunday moves on and as we end the weekend. For the men's side, it is Baruch College with a sizable lead in first place with 1,066 total points. And in second place, it is Roberts Wesleyan University at 787. And if we want to talk third, it is Gordon College bringing up third once again on the men's side with 497 total points, Joe.
So the top three teams on both sides of the meet, identical right now in a different order, but the same three teams on the top of the standings for both the men and for the women. It's going to be really tough for Roberts Wesleyan, if not impossible for them to overtake the Bearcats tonight for first. It would be even tougher perhaps for Gordon to come from behind and overtake Roberts Wesleyan for second. So it looks like right now the intrigue lies in the women's meet, and we have a stacked meet tonight that will begin with the 1,650-yard freestyle, followed by the 200 back, the 100 free, the 200 breast, the 200 fly, and then finally we close out with perhaps our favorite event of the entire weekend, the 400-yard freestyle relay. Our program tonight is expected to take us until about 8:30 in the evening. However, Joe and I will stay with you a bit beyond that as the scores are announced, and then, of course, the winning teams get their opportunity to celebrate. Oftentimes, that celebration culminates with a jump into the competition pool. Always fun to watch, and we will be sure to capture that moment for whatever team it is that comes out on top in our men's and women's meets this weekend. However, we do expect the senior walk to get underway within the next couple of minutes. So what Joe and I are going to do here is step off headset. We are going to crank up the volume on our headsets in order to capture public address once the senior walk begins. However, until that time, our microphones will remain muted. When sound does return to the live stream, you can be sure that the senior walk is getting underway. That's coming up next right here on the PDF Sports Network.
Metropolitan Collegiate Swimming and Diving championships. Before we begin tonight's final session, we would like to recognize our seniors. From Baruch College, Dylan Selimar, Tercia Domazinski, Youssef El-Kouli, Duncan Weed, Bounty Tidorenko, Joyce Wong, and Kristen Zhao. From Brooklyn College, Aziz Abdusamian, Ryan Badrehu, Max Bratkowski, Aaron Bridgekona, Whitney Godansky, Elizabeth Kerchak, Anastasia Kutuzov, James Lee, Alan Mordecai, and Mujaber Shah. From Gordon College, Zach Barneson, Grace Hashimisto, Catherine Maloney, Gina Boulette, and John Sullivan. From John Jay College, Gloria Glenn, Miranda Perez, Catherine Sacolindo, and Rina Yamamoto. From Lehman College, Brandon Coons. From Mount St. Mary College, Victoria DeLuca. Jackson Lerner. Grace McHugh. Raquel Ortiz. Stephanie Summer. Megan Worcester. From Roberts Wesleyan University, Ronald Pasiega. William Rugeberg. And Maya Webb. From Sarah Lawrence College, Sophie Linder. Eva Guarna Vasquez. Josie Lord. And Kenzie Schaefer Kay. And from SUNY Maritime College, Lauren Barreto. All right, fans, let's give it up one more time for our seniors. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the performance of our national anthem. Singing tonight's national anthem, please welcome back from Roberts Wesleyan University, Brody Baldwin and Sydney Simmons. Thank you, Brody Baldwin and Sydney Simmons. Our first diver this evening. This is her first Mets appearance, finalist in yesterday's 3-meter contest. She's the first ever diver at Sarah Lawrence College. Started diving in August and is a rock climber by trade, and also a team captain, Sophie Glinter. Our next diver, this is her first year diving at Brooklyn College. She was the 1-meter CUNY dive champion and CUNY All-Star in 2025 from Brooklyn College, Sydney Godansky. Our next diver, this is her first Mets appearance and was third on the 3-meter from Roberts Wesleyan, Ashley Oswald. Our next diver, in 2024, she was first on the 3-meter and then first on the 3-meter. She is 2-time NCAA qualifier from Roberts Wesleyan, Emma Deco. And our top seed this evening. Last night, she was second on the 3-meter, a 2-time NCAA qualifier, and 1-meter, 6-time school record holder from Roberts Wesleyan, Sydney Simmons. men's 3-meter diving. From Roberts Wesleyan University, he has 4 team and goal records. He is the team captain and senior, Will Rugeberg. All right, fans, it's now time to meet your finalists in the women's 1650-yard freestyle.
And we are back here on the PDF Sports Network. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside Joe Calabrese here on day 3 of finals at the 2025 Mets Swimming and Diving Conference Championship. And Joe, Nick and I have said it every year that we've covered this meet, but the Mets really does it right. The senior walk, the introduction of the finalists, the entire presentation this weekend, truly top-notch.
Absolutely. You cannot beat it. Everybody has time to shine, so to speak, and everybody does a really great job. And listen, Joe, from our vantage point, all of these seats and bleachers over here, whatever you want to call them, they're packed. Again, all of these student athletes are well represented and well supported, and you can see that makes a difference. So once again, kudos to Rutgers for another spectacular weekend as we get ready for the women's 1650 freestyle.
It's going to be a long one, Joe. The lower heats took place earlier in the day this afternoon, so those heats have already taken place. This is our A final. There will be one heat of finals tonight for the women, followed by one heat for the men. And Joe, what we'll do is hold off on swimmer introductions until the race gets underway.
Absolutely.
Because we are going to have quite a bit of time. What we will do is
sometimes it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
We'll reiterate the same point we've made every night. Lane 1 at the top of your screen, lane 8 at the bottom. And very quickly, in case you missed our pre-meet coverage, I will also run through the scores again entering the night. We'll do that in just a minute. Want to make sure that in the upper left-hand corner of our screen that the scoreboard is properly oriented. We have a bit of extra. We're going to tighten that up a bit. All right, we should be good to go up there in the upper left-hand corner of the screen for the rest of the night. Scores entering the evening, once again, top 3 for the women. Roberts Wesleyan University, 684. Baruch College, 672. Gordon College, 604. Top 3 for the men, Baruch College, 1,066. Roberts Wesleyan University, 787. And Gordon College, 497. We're just moments away from the start of the 1650 free A final. It is an electric atmosphere here on night 3 at the Mets. There were no preliminary heats for this event, very similar to the relays. Just a B final and an A final. The B final taking place earlier. That was live streamed. And Joe, as the swimmers take to the pool, let's meet them now.
Yes. So once again, to reiterate, lane 1 is at the top of your screen, working your way all the way down to the bottom for lane 8. In lane 1, we have Rannon Mulkerins of Mount St. Mary's College. In lane 2, we have Arwen Hefner of Gordon College. In lane 3, we have Cara Piltieri of Roberts Wesleyan University. In lane 4, we have Megan Worster of Mount St. Mary's College. In lane 5, we have Catherine Maloney of Gordon College. In lane 6, we have Grace Hakinasto of Gordon College. In lane 7, we have Juliana French of Roberts Wesleyan University. And in lane 8, we have Kristen Zhao of Baruch College.
And for what it's worth, Joe, let's get a look at the seed times and see perhaps what the lanes may be to watch. It looks like Worcester has a big advantage in terms of seed time swimming out of lane 4.
Yes, she is. Her seed time was 11:10. And it seems like the next closest swimmer to her is in lane 5, Catherine Maloney. So those are the top 2 swimmers to watch in this race. And once again, not a sprint, not a marathon. We are starting our Sunday here at the campus of Rutgers University with our longest races of the day.
Longest races of the entire weekend, in fact. This is by far the longest event of the weekend. We jump straight from an 800-yard event to a 1650. There is nothing in between this weekend, and it is the longest individual event by quite a bit. I believe the next closest individual event in terms of distance was the 400. So definitely impressive that you're even competing in this event. I can't imagine swimming for as long as these competitors will in this event here tonight.
But we are almost about through a quarter of the race. So as we look at the splits time over here, Worcester is pacing. But it seems like Maloney is not too far behind, Joe. Still less than a second off the pace. And we are looking at about a body length or so in the pool at the moment.
1, 2, 3, very closely assembled. Split times all ranging between 34 and 35. And they are consistently gaining on the other competitors, posting splits in the 38 to 42 range right now. Worcester representing Mount St. Mary in lane 4. Maloney representing Gordon College in lane 5. And Cara Pilateri representing Roberts Wesleyan University in lane 3 right now are the 3 names to watch. And you can see it is Worcester with a lead now of about 2 body lengths, maybe even more than that, headed for the wall. In a race like this, we do have to cheat from time to time and use the placards at the end of the pool to help us out and remind us exactly where we are in terms of laps. It's always very interesting in a longer event like this to follow those split times and see, are they rising? Are they falling? Are they remaining consistent? It really gives you some good insight into a particular swimmer's approach, whether it starts strong and tone it down a bit toward the end, or to really push it, and maybe in a race like this, push it for the final 200 maybe, if you can muster that, or maybe even as little as the final 50, depending on how close it is. And I think your approach likely changes given how far behind or how far ahead your closest competitors are if you're trying to overtake a swimmer or hold off a late surge.
Absolutely. And once again, as you see the split times continue to come in on the scoreboard to the top left of the screen, it seems like Maloney has basically just about kept up the same pace behind Megan Worcester within a second, and we are now approaching almost at the halfway point.
Stands out to me early in lanes 3, 4, and 5 right now. Consistency, consistency, consistency between 34 and 35 with every touch on those split times. And we'll see who blinks first, and it won't be in that 50.
Absolutely not. And once again, Joe, as this race progresses, when will we see the other swimmers here who are trailing the pace? When do we see them turn it on?
I'm not sure they do. I think if you look at the split times, or I should say, you can look at the split times. If you look at the seed times, it was very top heavy in terms of the field. So you mentioned before about 35-second difference between 1 and 2. That's a pretty hefty margin.
Yes, absolutely.
And taking a look at the splits, once again, Pilateri, Worcester, Maloney, all between 34 and 35 seconds.
So according to the split time totals that we have here, as I mentioned before the race started, Worcester came in at 11:10.79, and Maloney finished second at 11:45.02. So as we are now basically at the halfway point. It's going to be interesting to see if we do see Worcester at any point pick up the pace and continue to put a little bit of distance, because again, that seat time total between the first swimmer and the second swimmer was 35 seconds. From what we've seen so far, some of the swimmers here are able to kind of maintain a little, not so much distance in between them and Worcester at the moment.
Well, you said it, Joe. We're now just beyond the midway point, and the difference between lanes 4 along with lanes 3 and 5, they came in at about the same exact time, but Worcester was about 4 seconds ahead of the pace. Piloteri and Maloney touched at just about the same time. That difference now about 3 seconds between Worcester and Piloteri, and Maloney 2 seconds back of Piloteri. As you can see right now, a clear-cut 1, 2, 3 in the pool.
And lanes
Worcester,
3, 4, and
Piloteri,
5.
Maloney. About 2 body lengths between Worcester and Piloteri, and then maybe a body length between Piloteri and Maloney.
Worcester came in on that last touch at 33.97. Piloteri continuing to make up ground with that time of 33.69. So as you can see right now, just about a body length.
Piloteri and Worcester, split times trending down. Maloney right now trending in the other direction. And we'll see if she can turn it on late and make this a 3-woman race at the end. She is still very much in it with plenty of time, but definitely the matchup to keep an eye on at the moment are the 2 swimmers in lanes 3 and 4 whose split times are trending downward rather than the other way.
I didn't mention this yesterday, Joe, but watching these events, it's electric sometimes because there are certain points where you can see a swimmer in the pool kind of hit that switch, right? You know, we talk about, and it's not exclusive to swimming or anything like that, in other sports too. Are student athletes and athletes capable of kind of hitting that switch when they need to?
And we will see if this is that kind of race. A lot of the time in an event of this distance, as it looks like diving is about to begin. So that would make it an early start. They have not turned on the microphone, Joe. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to send you down to diving. Turn on the microphone for them.
You think you can complete the race on your own?
No, but I'm going to.
All right.
So, Joe, you head over to the diving desk.
For our viewers and listeners, I will be back momentarily. Joe Foreman will finish the call of our first race here, the women's 1650 freestyle.
All right. Thank you, Joe. And I'll take you the rest of the way as we get our diving stream started. Now, our plan was to get that stream started following the conclusion of this heat in the women's 1650 free, but it certainly looks like they're getting started early. So, down at diving, Joe's going to head over and turn on the microphone. We're going to get the live stream going on the diving side of things as well. So I am right now behind a second laptop. Joe and I, a 2-man crew tonight. Meanwhile, the gap is closing between Megan Worcester and Cara Piloteri in our main competition pool. Piloteri probably about a stroke or 2 behind, maybe half a body length. Thus far, Catherine Maloney still a distant third. It's at about this time where I have to begin to cheat. And look at those placards at the end of the pool. So I may have to head down to diving momentarily. Unfortunately, our wireless microphone over there isn't working. So I'll have to head over shortly. We're approaching the end of what is going to be a very close race here in the main competition pool. Piliteri and Worcester, stroke for stroke, headed toward the touchpad. And this is going to be about as close as a finish as we had all weekend. It is Piliteri with a narrow lead for Roberts Wesleyan. And this next trip to the end of the pool will be the last. Though actually, that is not the case. I'm looking at the placards expecting 40. This is a 1650. We got some time left. Though my attention is divided between what is going on at diving and what is going on in the main competition pool. Piliteri has a lead of about a body length here, and that lead has only grown as this race has continued. Take a look at the splits. Piliteri now about a second ahead of the pace of Worcester. And off that last turn, we'll see if her lead increases at all. Joe's headed back over now. The lead for Piliteri remains fairly constant at about a body length and a half. Once again, she gains time on that latest split, about 0.6 of a second. Joe, welcome back.
And we're back. What'd I miss?
You missed Cara Piliteri overtaking Megan Worcester at the top of the field in this event.
Oh, that's nice.
Though I do love you trying to fix the microphone while standing in front of the announcer. He needs to get the scores, Joe.
I know. On the way back, I kind of fixed that.
I'm not exactly sure why the transmitter is not working. It was working all day. It is fully charged. We're fully charged here as well, but unfortunately, no time to troubleshoot. We'll have to do it during our 20-minute break. For now, the audio on our diving stream is coming from inside the pool area and not directly from the scoring table over at diving. So we'll try and remedy that following the men's 1650. They got started way early, too. They got started about 25 minutes early.
Absolutely.
The lead for Piliteri continues to grow in lane 3. She's beginning to run away with this one as this 1650 free draws closer to a conclusion. Now, Joe, I'm thinking, and I think I'd be right to say this, I don't think the seed times are reflecting 1650 times.
I don't think
Not
so
all of
either.
them. And I kind of figured that out as we moved
I figured
along.
that out about halfway through the race. I realized, wait a minute, the math didn't compute. So for everybody listening and watching, the times that we did provide before, don't think they are correct.
They'd be pretty darn good in a 1650.
They would be pretty good in the 1650.
Really good.
But as it stands right now, it is Cara Piliteri of Roberts Wesleyan University. As I say that, she just touched the wall, and she came in with a split there of 33.76. So we'll continue monitoring second and third here. But once again, Cara Piliteri has taken over Megan Worcester from the time that I left to go to try to attempt to fix the mic problem up until the point I just came back.
So my belief is that all of these split times here are from the 1,000. Those split times are all 1,000 split times from throughout the season.
Okay.
That's what would make sense. So.
And they took the congregate of all the...
If somebody wants to take 65%, come up with a rough estimate, go right ahead. That won't be me. Unfortunately, the meet sheets aren't available online because they are put together throughout the day following preliminary heats. But There are score sheets online updated with each day of the meet, and you can check out live scoring as well on Meet
Is that
Mobile.
available on the Mets website, or is that elsewhere?
So the website is Be Smart Incorporated.
Be Smart Incorporated. Got it. For our viewers and our listeners, currently watching the PDF Sports Network at home.
They're smart.
That's right.
We should have been smarter looking at those seed times and realized, wait a minute, that's way too good for a 1650.
Yeah, well, it happens.
Get a look at those splits up on the board once again. Pilotari continues to gain over Worcester, but she certainly doesn't have this in the bag just yet.
She does not. However, her lead now is approximately half a pool and growing.
I think the important thing for her in terms of holding on to first place is that her splits have consistently outpaced Worcester. And right now, that's the matchup we're watching. That duo, 1 and 2 in lanes 3 and 4.
As this race progressed, from the time that I've gotten back, it seems like Pilotari is putting just a little more distance, a little more distance, a little more distance on those splits. The last one that came up on the big board on our screen to the top left, about a full second between her and Megan Worcester right now.
That is exactly what Pilotari is looking for, and it doesn't need to be a second. She will certainly take it, but it does not need to be a second in order for her to hold on to her lead. Her lead probably at about 60% of the pool, maybe a bit more. As she takes her turn and heads back toward the touchpad in lane 3, Worcester approaching the wall.
We appreciate our support system in place. Shout out to Dave Pizzuto at home watching or listening. Definitely doing one of the two.
He is definitely listening, I can tell you that.
He's listening? Is he in his car?
Perhaps. PDF on the go. Just keep your eyes on the road now.
That's right.
The last
Drive
thing we
safe.
need is, damaged vehicle with a PDF Sportsnet stream on someone's phone.
That's right.
The lead for Pilotari, I'd say about now 80% of the pool lane. She enters her final 50 here.
And very clearly, we have people up in front of us. You could hear that crowd noise all throughout the building as we prepare for the final 25 here, Joe.
Pilotari is going to take the A final in the women's 1650 free, clocking in somewhere between 1840 and 1850 on the lower end of the 40s. 1842.10 as she takes first. Worcester also heading for the touchpad, clocking it at 1855.15. It's funny, Joe, because if we had just looked up a bit, now it is cut off. You really can't see it well, but it does have the Metro Champs record up there.
It does.
I think they need some replacement ink cartridges, but the record was 1648.38 set back in 2017. So 11 would have been something really special.
Special and spectacular. We should have realized that.
Somebody made a timing error.
But as the race continues, we have Catherine Maloney of Gordon College finishing in third with an official time of 19:18.10.
1650, an event that you don't see on the meet program much during the regular season. I've covered, I think, coming into tonight, 5 swim meets this year, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe one more. It might have been 6. But at least 4 or 5, and no 1650. In many cases, there was a 1,000. But some of those shorter programs don't even include the 1,000. Really depends on what teams are coming into town. The race now is for 4th place. Looks like the swimmers are all somewhere around lap 61 to 63 heading for the wall. Pilitary 1, Worcester 2, Maloney 3 thus far. Final 50 here in lane 6 for Grace Axanasto. No other swimmer has entered the final 50 near the bottom of the screen yet. In lane 2, Arwen Hefner in the midst of her final 25. Axanasto will take 4th, and Hefner is going to take 5th, swimming out of lane 2.
You really love the support here for all the student athletes. It's incredible.
I'll tell you, the number of programs has certainly decreased. The enthusiasm certainly has not decreased.
Absolutely
but
not.
I will tell you, when we did this meet for the first time, I believe it was in 22. So we've done it now 4 years, 22, 23, 24, 25. When we did the meet in 23, there were 16 teams. This entire building was packed. There was not an empty seat in the house. And Nick and I could not hear each other at times during the relays. It was really a sight to behold. Not to mention the sing-alongs that came with it. That was Nick's favorite part. He hit a Kelly Clarkson since you've been gone that year.
Yeah, I remember that. You showed me the clip way back when.
I'm sure Nick showed it to you many times as well.
So in the original meet back in 22, there were 16 schools, I believe, right, you said?
16.
And then this weekend we have 10. And one other thing to note is the inclement weather. Yesterday was not great outside. Snow did not accumulate too much. Today it rained. It was kind of a slick, icky weekend all weekend. But everybody showed up. Whoever did show up here, they showed up and showed out well. And as we were discussing that, Juliana French came in of Roberts Wesleyan University. She is our official 6th place finisher here for our first race of the Sunday.
And we'll do it again shortly. The men up next. They were slated for a start time around 5:54, so they're not going to miss the mark by too much.
I believe the senior walk stuff at the beginning slid everything about 5 minutes or so, but nothing too bad. And there's Rand Mulkerins finishing 7th, and Christian Zhao, who is at the bottom of your screen, ladies and gentlemen who are watching.
Final 25.
Final 25 for her.
They're always so tough to capture lane 8, though. We have a pretty good view of it today. It really comes down to how crowded it is poolside. But it will be Zhao taking 8th once again. The 8 finalists, 1 through 8, Pilitary, Worcester, Maloney, Axanasto, Hefner, French, Mulkerins, and Zhao. Finalists in the men's 1650 heading out and drowning out my voice very quickly. Now, technique that I have not yet mastered, admittedly. When the music comes on, I do not have to raise my voice. I can't help but do it. I can't help it. But the men are headed out to the pool now. Once again, we will wait until the race gets underway to introduce them. I'm going to glance down at my sheet with the seed times and toss it aside, because those are of no help to us.
Well, bring that bad boy back over here.
That's yours.
Yeah, so of the first 2, we could throw those out because once again.
Well, you can let us know the record in Metro Champs set in 2017.
Yes, you can. 2017 was 15:40.92. Scorching pace. If any of our 8 swimmers.
Not as scorching as the seed time of 10:35.54 listed.
Absolutely not. All right, so let's introduce our 8 swimmers here. Swimming out of lane 1, we have Broden Baldwin.
National anthem singer.
That's right. Good nuggets for anybody supporting Baldwin on the broadcast. He's in lane 1. Swimming from Roberts Wesleyan University. In lane 2, we have Leo Valdivia of Baruch College. In lane 3, we have Greg Tarantev of Baruch College. In lane 4, we have Tanner Pinto-Cohn of Roberts Wesleyan University. In lane 5, we have Derek Woodford of Roberts Wesleyan University. In lane 6, we have Michael Kravitz of Brooklyn College. In lane 7, we have Ronald Paseka of Roberts Wesleyan University. And in lane 8, we have Matt Klemick of Maritime College.
A lot of Roberts Wesleyan in this field. 4 Red Hawks swimmers, and Joe, if they're going to pick up some ground on the Bearcats in the final standings, now's the time.
Absolutely. Based on what we see here, again, from our seat time totals that are not accurate, the 2 swimmers to watch in this race are the 2 teammates from Roberts Wesleyan, being Pinto-Cohn in lane 4 and Woodford in lane 5. So once again, Joe, they're about 300 points off Baruch College in the standings.
It's a lot.
Entering today, it is a lot. However, 2 good times here and a strong showing throughout the rest of the day with a couple wins. May be able to narrow the gap and possibly overtake them by the time Sunday ends.
That's a lot of points.
A lot of points.
It's still going to be a very interesting jockeying for position on the women's side. First, second, third, all within about a couple hundred points. So a lot can happen in terms of movement there here tonight. We'll be keeping an eye on that throughout the evening. That being said, we don't have live scoring as you and I don't have access to Meet Mobile.
Unfortunately, we do not. That would be an incredible feature to have, especially for everybody currently watching the broadcast at the moment. But nonetheless,
I guarantee you most of our viewers have access. I would bet most of them do. When you have a family member in the game, I don't think there's any boundary that you won't cross to make sure you have the best coverage possible.
Well, with that being said, Joe, the race is now officially underway. About 30 seconds in, and what do we see early?
We see in lane 4 that the top-seeded Tanner Pinto-Cohn has a slight lead over Greg Tarantayev in lane 3, but this early, it does not mean much. 3 of 65, one end of the pool to the other. Early splits all between about 30 and 33 seconds, it appears. So this field of 8, early on anyway, looks to be very closely assembled compared to what we saw in the previous event.
Yeah, I don't want to put my foot in my mouth with any strong predictions here, but based on what we saw on our meet sheets, the times for the swimmers here, the top swimmers here, were a little more closely compact together. So as the race moves on, I think you're going to probably see that play out a little more here than we did in the women's race.
Well, we will see if that comes to fruition. I already have the nickname Joe Stradamus, so you'll have to think of something else.
Well, I mean, along with our fellow PDF Sports Network broadcast partner, Nick, we do co-host a podcast, I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Nick tries to throw it in there as much as he can, that he's right. Meanwhile,
he wants to
you were the one with the Joe Stradamus nickname.
He wants to call himself Nick Stradamus. I think that's a huge miss. He should be Der Stradamus.
Der Stradamus, okay.
Yeah, that's way better.
We'll let our live viewers and listeners chime in on that if they feel free to
I don't know if they
that.
will.
I don't think they will either.
Meanwhile, in the pool, it's a lead of about a body length in lane 4 for Tanner Pinto-Cohn.
And it looks like Roberts Wesleyan in third as of the moment, Woodford in lane 5. Not too much difference in the split times at the moment between the top 2 swimmers here. Just about a 0.3 second of difference.
You can really see early after the first 50, saw all of the swimmers posting splits between 30 and 33. Now you're getting splits north of 33, north of 34. This is where the top seeds really begin to distinguish themselves. And it's rather early.
It is rather early. Three minutes in off that potential 10-minute pace, Joe.
Well,
Imagine they came in at 10 minutes and we were here for that
Yeah, I was
super
about to say.
hero Herculean effort.
That potential only exists on our meet sheets, which are a great fiction. Like I said, these times are definitely from the 1,000.
But that's okay. Thankfully, we are here to provide context for anybody listening and watching at home.
Somebody needed to provide me context, clearly.
See, I get a pass because this is my first weekend doing this with you guys. I'm very...
Oh, so this is my fault.
No, it's nobody's fault. I'm just saying I get a little more leeway in comparison to you.
Well, look what I found.
So that wasn't turned on, so now the mic...
It was on, it just wasn't connecting. I just tried it 3 times.
Okay.
And now, all of a sudden, we have diving audio, and they're in the midst of a break.
They're in the midst of a break. However, whoever's listening and watching back home, once diving does come back from break, we have the audio fixed, so you should be able to better hear the person who is currently stationed at the table to the left of the diving boards, providing scores and context and all of that. So once again, we'll monitor that as this race moves on. But Joe, let's get back here to the men's 1650.
The old power cycle, on and off 3 separate times, and eventually you strike gold. In this case, blue for the Bluetooth connectivity. The lead in lane 4 has grown for Tanner Pinto-Cone. Probably about 2 or 3 body lengths at this point after that last touch. His split comes in sub 32.
About a third of the way through the pool, I would say, his official lead at the moment is.
Placard at the end of his lane reads 19. So he's closing in on a third of the way there. Yep, they are tallying the scores, Joe, over at diving.
Very nice. Better for our listeners and viewers at
Well, they'll
home.
know who won. I think more important than hearing the announcements is getting to see your family member or friend compete. A lot
Absolutely.
of the time, they don't get to perform on a stage like this with the coverage that is due to a meet of this importance. And
Want absolutely as much clarity as humanly possible. Who's to say, parents are home, maybe friends, and we mentioned yesterday are home. So thankfully you got that thing fixed.
in time for the scores anyway.
In time for the scores.
It's a long way to that corner. Hypothetically, for a device more familiar with, if you tried to go that far with your AirPods, they probably would not work. So this is a pretty strong transmitter that can reach all the way across the gymnasium or the rec center, pool area. Gymnasium's downstairs.
That's why it's always important to invest in high-end equipment when you're doing production and broadcasts like this. You need the best, especially when you're stationed here and you're setting up at a major university like Rutgers is. And we thank them for providing us what we need, and the hospitality and all the hospitality from the schools represented and everybody who's here. As we're stationed all the way up here at the very, very top of the gym over here, Joe and I, and again, not exclusive to swimming or diving, anytime you do an event, people always come up and they always like to say hello. And whether we're doing other events, I've done other events with you guys, and I've had parents come up to me and say, listen, we've been listening to you as this is going on. You guys do a great job. So kudos to you, kudos to Dave for getting this thing going and having a substantial presence here at the Mets at Rutgers now for 4 years going.
Well, we've had a blast each and every year. Admittedly, and I will not be shy about saying it, the gap between the prelims and the finals, those can be at times a very, very long, on this day, close to 6 hours.
Yes.
But putting on a show for the family members back at home and giving these student athletes the opportunity to shine is well worth it, even in this hot box, because
absolutely
all day long, sweating it out in the hot box, waiting for the finals to start. But at least there's something to look forward to for us here on PDF at the end of the day with the finals. And obviously today we opened up with the senior walk. That's something that during year one, when we didn't have a deep familiarity with the program, we didn't actually know the senior walk was coming. So they got started and we scrambled to catch the senior walk and caught it near the end. and we were operating on a completely separate platform at that time, didn't have that live interactivity that we do now, but we had gotten people coming up to us and saying, can our family members watch the senior walk at home? That's how we knew, all right, we got to get set up and get this on. So we did, and thankfully we were set up early enough to catch most of it. But the senior walk is something that's so important to the student athletes, to their families watching back at home. And as we've said already, the Mets, they do it right and give all the student athletes their opportunity to shine and their moment of recognition in what, for many of these athletes, will be their final collegiate meet. Not all of them go on to NCAAs.
No, they do not. Speaking of putting on a show, let's talk about Tanner Pinto-Cohn right here in lane 4. The last couple of lengths of the pool, just over 31 seconds flat each individual length. So he's continuing it. He's maintaining that pace here at the middle portion of this race.
Looking at the splits, for the leaders anyway, probably between 31 and 34 will put you near the top right now. And if you look at Pinto-Cohn, 31.4, right in that range. The upper end would be between 33 and 34. But anything between 31 and 32 right now, a strong split. I'm trying to get a look at those placards, but it looks like the closest swimmer to Pinto-Cohn is Michael Kravitz of Brooklyn College in lane 6.
Yes, and he just came in, his last split was almost 31 flat, came in at 31.01 exactly. So over the last couple of lengths of the pool, Kravitz, representing Brooklyn College, has made up quite a gap here on Pinto-Cohn. And their split time for their last individual lengths, respectively, exactly the same time at 31:43.
That's hard to do.
Very hard to do. So, again, for anybody who's watching at home, Kravitz has definitely done his part here in kind of cutting that sizable lead that Pinto-Cohn had in the early third of this race.
His lead probably about 2/3 the length of the pool right now. His last split coming in there at 31:51. Kravitz coming in at 32:63, so Pinto-Cohn picking up about a second there.
Over halfway through the race, almost 2/3 of the way through. We're almost there.
With the next touch for Pinto-Cohn, he is 2/3, or I should say the next turn. Split for Pinto-Cohn once again right around that 31.5 mark, between 31.5 and 31.6. That seems to be the sweet spot right now. Kravitz comes in at 31.54, so he keeps pace to that last 50. Those two swimmers cross each other right near the middle of the pool, so it's a lead of about the full length of the pool for Pinto-Cohn at this point.
Let's see, are there any other swimmers right now we should be watching? What about Ronald Pasecki here at Roberts Wesleyan University in lane 7?
Well, like I said, Joe, you have to use those cheat sheets at the end of the pool. Those placards will tell you who's near the top, and right now 4 separate swimmers are in about the same place.
We have lanes 4, 5, and 6.
It's 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all in about the same place.
So
but that's generally speaking.
Lane 3 to 6, Greg Tarantiev, Tanner Pinto-Cohn, Derek Woodford, and Michael Kravitz.
That last split by Kravitz.
30-54.
30-54.
Listen, if you could chop off 5, 6, 7 tenths each length for the next couple of lengths.
Well, that'd be nice.
That would be nice.
That'd be real nice, but.
That makes this race very close. Or potentially could make this race very close.
If he does it another 8 times, which is about the rest of the duration of the race, then perhaps we're talking. The lead still a sizable one, but not quite where it was before for Tanner Pinto-Cohn. I would say that lead now is about
exactly half a pool length.
Yeah, half pool length. Yep. No one else really in the first place conversation yet. It looks like Kravitz is gaining, Joe.
Yes, he is gaining. That last length, let's see the time of that. 30-22.
He gained almost a second and a half.
It felt like he. Remember what I told you in the women's race show? Sometimes when you're watching in the pool, you can kind of sense that moment where a swimmer just turns it on a little bit. You know, maybe she was pacing his or herself before, and it seems like Michael Kravitz over the last 2 or 3 lengths has really started to kick it into high gear.
And it's funny you mention it because I noticed earlier in the race when Pinto Cohn's lead over Kravitz had grown, one of the splits that Kravitz posted was a 32.5. And obviously he would be looking to do better than that the rest of the way. And with that one split, that was a regression. After that, every split since, for the most part, until this most recent one, has seen him make progress in terms of his own split, not even looking at it relative to the time posted by Pinto Cohn.
And this last length over here, he's, once again, it seems like every time he's just chopping a couple of tenths, of tenths.
Joe, I was going to say, he may have missed a touch, but it came up very, very late.
Very late there.
Yeah. Maybe too many swimmers had touched at about the same time. I'll tell you, from my experience working swim meets, easily the technology is the most difficult part. Whether it be meet manager crashing or a touchpad malfunctioning, the scoring panel not communicating properly with the scoring computer, there are a lot of moving parts. And I think watching, you could probably figure that, but it's even more intricate than you think.
And like we said before, there was inclement weather this weekend. Now, it wasn't too bad outside. However, there was a moment last night where the big scoreboard that we have here in the top left of your screen at home, that went out for maybe about 10 to 15 seconds or so, maybe even a little bit longer.
It was out for quite a bit.
Yeah, it was. But
it was more than that. It was a couple of minutes.
No, I don't think it was a couple minutes.
At one point,
about
it was
a minute
out.
Or so.
At
Maybe.
one point, it was out for at least 2 minutes, at least.
Maybe I am misremembering.
We'll go back to the
it felt
tape.
A little short, yeah. We'll go back to the tape.
You're like Andy Pettit. You misremembered, as Roger Clemens once said.
Well, it was one truth and one lie. One truth was the scoreboard did go out last night. So back to your point about technical difficulties, they do happen, especially at a facility like this that is as big, a lot of moving parts. The distance between equipment does not help us in that regard. But, again, kudos to PDF and what you guys do, being able to set up here consistently.
You guys, Joe.
That's right. Well,
give yourself a pat on the back, Joe Calabrese.
Now I feel truly a part of the
Give
PDF
yourself
family.
a pat on the back, Joe Calabrese. Though I do have the polo, you do not.
But as we were discussing all of that here, it seems like, once again, that lead that Pinto Cohn has, what was once about a half a pool length is now about the third of a pool length.
Well, he's now sub 31 with the split.
He's been turning on here the last couple lengths.
He is trying to make sure that he closes this out. And given where his splits were throughout this race, to see him go sub 31 this late, you can tell he's turned it on. He's going to make sure he finishes. I'd be surprised if he's overtaken.
Scorching. His last split for his last length was 30.94, and Kravitz was 31.34. So exactly 4/10 on that last instant splitting for the difference between them.
Kravitz has been consistent.
Pinto Cohn, once again, coming in under 31 seconds on that. Definitely the last 3 or 4 lengths. You could see that, and then for anybody listening at home, the crowd taking note of that. Very clearly reacting and making noise to support the Roberts Wesleyan student here in lane 4.
We are headed to a finish here in the men's 16:53 as Tanner Pinto Cohn posts a time of 17:12.32. Coming in behind him, Michael Kravitz in lane 6 with a time of 17:20.92.
Very good showing for both, nonetheless.
In lane 5, Derek Woodford posts a time of 17:34.36. Looks like the next to finish will be Greg Tarantayev in lane 3. He takes fourth, 17:53.49. Keep in mind, following the conclusion of this event, we will have a 20-minute break. At that time, our audio will go out. Joe and I will return following the conclusion of the break with the rest of tonight's program. And Joe, from here on out, we're going to move pretty quickly.
Yes, we are. Boom, 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 boom. Very fast-moving Sunday. After we start with the two longest races of the day, the women's and the men's 1650 freestyle.
I think we did pretty well with an event that goes for anywhere between 17 and 25 minutes. But coming up after our break, the 200 back, the 100 free, the 200 breast, the 200 fly, and then the 400 free relay wraps up the weekend here at the Mets. Ronald Pasieka takes 5th, and right behind him, Leo Valdivia takes 6th.
Just about a second, right? Oh, yeah.
Really close.
Very, very close there for 5th and 6th.
Both swimmers now in the pool in the midst of their final 50. First to the touch pad is Broden Baldwin with a time of 19:10.36. Chance of Red Hawks from the area poolside. Finally, Matt Klimek will take 8th with a time of 19:23.05. So with the meet headed into a 20-minute break, Joe and I are going to step off headset, and we will come back following the conclusion of this 20-minute break. Now, hold on a second, Joe. Are we headed to a break?
I don't think so.
So the break comes later.
Yeah, I was going to say, our swimmers are in the pool at the moment.
It does say here that we have a break of 10 minutes on the program.
Okay, so maybe the senior walk thing kind of prohibited
All right,
them from
we
taking the
are
break at the time.
continuing right through.
We're going to go. Listen, this is live TV, baby.
That's right.
So at the moment, on our big scoreboard over here, we do not have the swimmers, but
we will.
That is in the process of changing at the moment as I say this. So once again, we have the women's 200-yard backstroke.
Will we have it?
So at the moment, we don't have anybody on the scoreboard. So
last names, Joe. Do your best.
Last names. We're going to do our best here. In lane 2, right? In lane 2, we have Castaneda of Baruch College. In lane 3, we have Vanderhoof of Roberts Wesleyan University. In lane 4, we have Sheikh of Brooklyn College. In lane 5, we have Schaefer K of Sarah Lawrence College. In lane 6, we have Gonzalez of Baruch College. And in lane 7, we have Sacliendo, right? Sacliendo of John Jay College.
Well, I'll need my meet sheet as well in order to let you know who's closing in on victory, who's trying to race a lead late in this one. I do not believe in the 4 years I've been working the Mets that I've called a heat without the names up on the board.
We don't have the race title either.
They're working on it, I'm sure. But we were supposed to have a break, so perhaps that has something to do with it?
That definitely has something to do with it.
This is definitely the women's 200 back, so we know that much. And assuming this is our B final, which would make sense because swimmers occupy lanes 2 through 7, we have those names in front of me. So
based on our seat time totals at the moment, it was Sheikh who came in at 2:38. She's currently pacing the field. And in second place, I believe it was Schaefer K. Right, and here we go. They're finally up.
All right, there we go.
There we go. Little.
Just in time for the final 50
right.
coming up shortly.
Better context for our viewers and listeners at home.
Oh, it makes my job so much easier.
Oh, yes.
I was about to say, contact PDF Inc. They are incorporated, you know. I was about to ask for a raise.
So for that last split, it is Sheikh of Brooklyn College at 41.49. Schaefer K of Sarah Lawrence College at 41.78. So Schaefer K is a little less than 3/10 off the lead as we prepare for the conclusion of this race, Joe.
We'll see if these swimmers can come in ahead of those seed times. The top seed time, as you mentioned, belongs to Yara Sheikh. That was at about 2:38, and it looks like she is going to surpass that as she heads toward the touch pad. It will be close, but she will indeed surpass her seed time. Sheikh 1, Schaefer K 2. And in lane 3, it is Jordan Vanderhoof in third. Swimming out of lane 6, Imani Gonzalez will take 4th. Looks like Cindy Castaneda in lane 2 is going to take 5th. And Catherine Sacalindo, if I'm not mistaken, will take 6th.
Of all the transitions and races, so I wasn't here Friday. Nick Durst was here Friday. Big shout out again to our friend Nick Durst, currently on vacation.
Can't
has
watch.
no idea.
He's on the cruise ship.
He's on the cruise ship, doesn't have connection to us, not watching, not listening, enjoying time with his wife and his 1-year-old son. That was quite hectic, thinking we were going to break, and all the female swimmers here, the 6 female swimmers, immediately jump right back into the pool.
So there is a section of the program where it says adjustment for
Time?
1,000, and then it's cut off.
Okay.
Okay, so it actually does acknowledge the seed, adjustment for 1,000 seed.
Sure.
I think that's what that says, indicating that the seed times on our meet programs were from the 1,000.
Yes. Nice to know that we can officially confirm that, just in case we need to go back.
In case there was any doubt that someone
if there's any
finished.
discrepancy from, again, a parent, a friend.
In case anybody doubted you could finish a 1650 in 11 minutes.
Big thanks to everybody currently in the live chat. A lot of Let's Go Bearcats. So shout out to the Bearcats. They're having an excellent weekend so far. And yes, once again, shout out to PDF for making all of this possible and helping out those who cannot be here.
You can't shout out yourself, Joe.
I'm never going to shout out myself.
You are PDF.
Well, now I feel officially.
We didn't just pluck you out of the crowd and drop you next to me.
I really officially feel like PDF now. Now
Good.
that I've worked multiple events under the PDF umbrella, now I really feel like that.
Yeah.
But
maybe one day you'll earn a polo.
Right. Or a sweatshirt. That'd be nice. Really, really good merchandise for anybody who's listening or watching. You can purchase that.
You cannot purchase that.
You cannot purchase
You cannot purchase that.
You'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there, right? We'll get there. Can I say that?
The day I see somebody walking the streets in their PDF Sports Network hoodie,
Excellent.
that would be a really special day.
So anyway, let's meet the swimmers here for this, the women's
A-final.
200-yard backstroke, the A final here. In lane 1, we have Tersha Dobrzinski of Baruch College. In lane 2, we have Steph Summer of Mount St. Mary's College. In lane 3, we have Ella Hernan of Sarah Lawrence College. In lane 4, we have Kira Chen of Baruch College. In lane 5, we have Caitlin Chavez of Baruch College. In lane 6, we have Kristen Eads of Sarah Lawrence College. In lane 7, we have Emma Brule of Gordon College. And in lane 8, we have Paige Kern of Roberts Wesleyan University. And based on our seed times, Kira Chen, the time to beat of 2:17.11. We'll see if she could best her total. And right behind her will be Chavez in lane 5 and Hernan in lane 3 as the other 2 female swimmers to watch. But as we saw a couple of times yesterday, sometimes the seed totals can be quite deceiving. There were a couple of instances yesterday where swimmers outpaced their seed time totals and ended up winning their respective races. So very interesting, Joe, here, the women's 200-yard backstroke A final.
Something else to keep in mind as well, we mentioned at the start of the broadcast how close it was at the top of the women's meet with Baruch and Roberts Wesleyan. Big opportunity here for the Bearcats with the top 2 seeds in lanes 4 and 5 to really pick up some significant points in an event like this where the top seed for Roberts Wesleyan is Paige Kern swimming in lane 8. We are underway in the A final of the women's 200 back. First to the wall, swimming out of lane 4 is Kira Chen, perhaps giving her a push there, was Kirsten Eads in lane 6. Right now, it is Chen and Eads near the top of the field. I think Chen was first to the wall by a fraction of a second. She was about a half a second ahead of Eads in lane 6.
That 30.98 pace. Whew.
The only sub-31 split among the 8 swimmers through the first 50.
And a great turnover there from the wall.
If you just gain a fraction on each turn and are dead even the rest of the way, that's enough. And we've seen it. Strong turns, strong underwaters. It's not just about what you do above the water, but what you can do turning and covering as much length in the pool as possible under it, that really makes an impact in all of these events, specifically in an event like the breaststroke where you're really set up to get right into your stroke emerging from the underwater.
So it is Kira Chen at the moment, who continues to have just about a little over a body length lead over Caitlin Chavez, her fellow Baruch College. Not teammate, right? No teams here? What would you consider? Are they teams?
Yeah.
Team?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or programs.
Sure. Competitors, though, in this race.
I was going to say, yeah, they're teams. I was baffled at first by the question. Meanwhile, if you look up at those split times, Kira Chen now more than a second ahead of the rest of the field, really in prime position to close this out strong and with a win. She is not going to be challenged here as she heads for the touch pad. Her seed time about 2:17. She is going to surpass that for sure. By how much is the question? 2:14.83.
About 2.5 seconds.
Chavez second, Hernan third, Eads fourth, Summer fifth. Looks like it's going to be Brule in sixth, Kern in seventh, and Dobrzinski's touchpad has malfunctioned in lane one.
So that race basically held true to form based on what we saw over here.
Just about.
Our next event is the men's 200-yard backstroke Heat 1B final.
So
Heat 1B final, men's 200 back. Let's meet the swimmers.
Let's meet the swimmers. In lane 2, we have Nikolai Kryliuk of Brooklyn College.
Kryliuk.
Kryliuk?
Kryliuk.
Kryliuk.
Yeah, like
okay.
curly. Yeah.
Kryliuk, okay. We
Yep.
have Jaden Parshall of Roberts Wesleyan University in lane 3. We have Teddy Mills of Mount St. Mary's College in lane 4. We have Zach Barneson of Gordon College in lane 5. We have Max Bratkovsky of Brooklyn College in lane 6. And we have Joshua Nattenson of Brooklyn College in lane 7. So just 6 swimmers in this race. And Joe, based on our seat time totals for the B final here, Teddy Mills in lane 4, 2:22 and 5. The pace setter here, and it seems as if he's got a little bit of a challenge here in the early portion of this race.
That is Barneson, probably about a stroke behind him, maybe 2, swimming out of lane 5, representing Gordon College. But as you can see up on the board, that deficit is still more than a second. First 50 in the books, men's 200 back. Mills headed for the wall. He is first to make his turn, followed by Barneson, and then by Parshall in lane 3. Mills and Barneson not far apart at all.
Very, very, very interesting to see the split times here for this particular length here. Yep, so Barneson 7/10 better on that exchange. And it seems as if he has taken the lead here, Joe.
And he certainly has, swimming out of lane 5, and you could see him gaining during the previous 50. Our next 50 after this will be the final 50 in this B final of the men's 200 back. Sizable lead now for Barneson.
Those last 2 pool lengths, Joe, he's been able to put, now it seems like a body and a half distance between him and Teddy Mills.
During the prelims, he was about 4 seconds behind Mills' pace. And Mills has been overtaken in lane 3 as well by Jaden Parshall. Barneson is going to take this one, barring a late push out of lane 3. Jaden Parshall gaining, but I don't know if there's enough pool left, Joe.
I don't think there's enough pool left either, and I'll tell you something, he may not even finish in 3rd here. And our winner officially is Zach Barneson in lane 5 at 2:22.64 officially, Joe.
Right behind him, Parshall. Mills was overtaken for 3rd by Kryliuk. In 5th, Max Bratkovsky. And in 6th will be Joshua Natanzi. Those are the standings for our B final in the men's 200 back. A final coming up next. Meanwhile, over at our second pool, diving has concluded. The scores were announced over the second live stream for diving. So if you are curious to know how that played out, just go check out the diving stream, wind it back a bit. You can get those scores. That stream is going to go offline shortly.
Very nice. So in that B final, like the women's A final held true to form. That race provided us a little bit of some of the theatrics that we might see, as Sunday continues to move along. Not an upset, but sometimes those seat times totals do not reflect.
In the shorter distance races, you're much more prone to that movement.
Absolutely. If anything within 2 to 3 seconds is very easily a manageable length of time to overcome for anybody who's second, third, or even fourth off the big pace. So as we prepare for the men's 200-yard backstroke A final, in lane 1, Joe, we have Michael D'Ambrosio of Mount St. Mary's College. In lane 2, we have Springle. His name was cut off, right?
Ethan.
Yes. What's up?
Ethan Springle.
Ethan Sprinkle. Okay, thank you for providing that for me. From Roberts Wesleyan University in lane 2. In lane 3, we have Theo Dietrich of Gordon College. In lane 4, we have Ronald Sanchez of Lehman College. In lane 5, we have Ethan Abramov of Baruch College. In lane 6, we have Samuel Lau of Baruch College. In lane 7, we have Avery Fedor of Roberts Wesleyan University. In lane 8, we have Floyd Diaz of Baruch College. And Joe, for this race here, it is Ronald Sanchez of Lehman College in lane 4 with the best split time entering this race at 2 minutes exactly and 64 tenths. And right behind him is Abramov with 2:01.3. So, like last race, again, a manageable time within that 1 second range. So Sanchez, the favorite, not the favorite here by no stroke of the imagination.
Should be interesting to watch. As you mentioned in our last race, a bit of shuffling around of the top seeds. And a big opportunity here once again for Baruch with 3 swimmers in this event to pad their lead on the men's side of this meet. The Bearcats going to be very tough to dethrone, as we mentioned, if not impossible at this point in the meet. But we will see if that trend continues throughout the rest of the night. Following our A final in this men's 200 back, 100 free. 3 heats for the women, 3 heats for the men. We are going to get moving quickly following the conclusion of this race. May have to go last names exclusively, Joe. Might not have time to meet the swimmers.
Well, if that's the case, then we're going to move as fast as we need to.
And we are underway in the A final of the men's 200-yard backstroke. Swimmers headed for the wall. And it looks like in lanes 3 and 4, Dietrich and Sanchez are there first. 2 very strong underwaters for that duo. It is Sanchez.
About a 2-stroke, I would say, at the moment right now, almost a full body length. So that in this last split, Dietrich putting just a slight difference between him and Sanchez in lane 4.
As you said, Joe, that lead has grown to a full body length. And at this point, it's a full body length and then some. The differential here on the splits, maybe 2 or 3 seconds.
And he gained a little bit of time on that last split, Joe, in comparison to Sanchez.
Okay. 2.1, that's a huge gain over the course of 50 yards. And it looks like this race is going to belong to Theo Dietrich. He is running away with it. What a strong finish. He is going to come in well under 2 minutes here.
Official time for the first place finisher, Theo Dietrich of Gordon College, 1:53.18. 7 seconds.
Huge
better.
improvement.
Huge improvement.
For him, it was a 14-second improvement, Joe. It was a 14-second improvement. Sanchez improved by 3 seconds.
That's right. You're right. I was looking at Sanchez's total.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Huge improvement. Theo Dietrich making a statement here in the men's 200 back A final. He takes first, Sanchez second, Springle third.
It's like we said, Joe, sometimes the favorite, or who you think is the favorite based on these totals coming into the race, sometimes it doesn't hold true to form.
Our next event is the women's 100-yard freestyle.
Women's 100 free, Joe. Last names, lane 1 through 8, go.
1 through 8. The women's 100-yard freestyle C final. We have Stenbar of Brooklyn College. We have Talibikova of
Very
Baruch
good.
College. You know, some names that are harder are easier to pronounce, and some names that seem to be a little simpler are harder. But anyway, continuing. We have Engel of Sarah Lawrence College in lane 3. We have Gormley of Gordon College in lane 4. We have McClellan of Roberts Wesleyan University in lane 5. Placencia of Brooklyn College. Placencia of Brooklyn College in lane 6. Delap of Sarah Lawrence College in lane 7. And Ortiz of Mount St. Mary's College in lane 8. And entering, it was Gormley with the best seed time total of minute and 7 seconds and 17:10. So let's see how that plays out here as we see our first major split time here. And it is Gormley leading the pace, 31.99 here, Joe.
Over 2 seconds.
2-second difference between her and Engel and McClellan.
Gormley with a sizable lead. I don't think anybody's going to catch her. In fact, there is no way. It's going to be a race for second in lanes 3 and 5. McClellan with the advantage, swimming out of lane 5. And she's beginning to pull away from her closest competitors. It looks like it's going to be Gormley 1, McClellan 2, and third could go any direction. Let's see. It looks like in lane 3, Jocelyn Engel will take third. And Diana Placencia will take fourth. Juliet Delap fifth. Talibikova sixth. Not sure if that first name is cut off or not.
So the fastest time in that C final for Gormley holding true actually bettered that 107 final mark by a couple of tenths. So great race for her.
B final women's 100 free coming up now. They are wasting no time. We are moving.
Wasting no time. Once again, rapid fire. We have Ava Greengrass of Sarah Lawrence College. She's in lane 1. We have Kate Servin of Mount St. Mary's College in lane 2. We have McKay Farkas of Gordon College in lane 3. We have Katerina Titarenko of Hunter College in lane 4. We have Josie Lauer of Sarah Lawrence College in lane 5. We have Brianna Torres of John Jay College in lane 6. We have Gwendolyn Posner, right, of Hunter College in lane 7. And we have Isabella Bichetto of Gordon College in lane 8. And Joe, let me tell you something. The seat time totals did not matter in here. 1 second splitting the top 3 finishers, Farkas, Titarenko, and Lauer. So as we see this race play out at the moment, there's a lot of crowd over there, but it is Lauer in lane 5 right now with that early edge. And as we see her split time total here, clocking in at 27.96. So she's currently in first. She's setting the pace here. And Joe, will take it to you.
She is about half a second ahead of the pace, headed for the wall. And her lead over Katerina Titarenko in lane 4 was about a body length ahead of that turn. It remains about a body length, headed for the touchpad. Lauer beginning to pull away. It's a race for second. Josie Lauer will take first. And it looks like Titarenko has a slight edge in the race for second. She's got it. Just over a minute. Lauer comes in at 59.40. So the seed times did not have a single swimmer come in under a minute. And it is Lauer who crosses that threshold here in the finals.
Yes, she was second by about 0.5 of a second. So that's why I said at the top of that race it was kind of negligible going in. But excellent performance from Josie Lauer of Sarah Lawrence College there. Went 59.4. Finishing in first in the women's 100-yard freestyle B final. And as we prepare for the A final, Joe.
Swimmers headed poolside now.
Got some music playing on the loudspeakers. Hopefully not
I
too
better talk
long.
over it.
You better talk over it really, really loudly. So I'm going to do my job and do that for you as well. So for the women's 100-yard freestyle A final. In lane 1, we have Haley Welch of Roberts Wesleyan University. In lane 2, we have Julia Mecker of Sarah Lawrence College. In lane 3, we have Lydia Schustack of Gordon College. In lane 4, we have Maya Webb of Roberts Wesleyan University. In lane 5, we have Miranda Perez of John Jay College. In lane 6, we have Ashley Leal of Baruch College. In lane 7, we have Isabella Gaddis.
I would say Gaddis. Yeah.
We'll go
That's
with
what
you.
I would say.
Gordon College. Apologies for the mispronunciation if that was the case. And we have Emily Berg of Sarah Lawrence College in lane 8. And for this race show, there is a clear-cut standout. It is Maya Webb of Roberts Wesleyan University in lane 4. Her seed time total at 52:13, about 4 seconds better than her next competitor, and that being Miranda Perez of John Jay College in lane 5.
Taking a look at those seed times, I think her seed time is about as close as we've seen anyone come to
A potential
Metro
record.
Champs record. Yeah,
That's right.
A second and a half in 100 is not massive, but it is significant. It matters.
I'll tell you something, like he mentioning that if it's 1 second, if it's 2 seconds, if it's 3 seconds, you don't want to say it's totally negligible.
In
but
100,
it's-
3 seconds
but
is
it's
a
well
lot.
within striking distance. So let's see. Maya Webb, lane 4, Roberts Wesleyan University, 52:13 officially in her seed time total. The Metro record is officially 50:57, correct? It was set in 2015 by Tatiana Cheppel.
In our previous heat, we did see Josie Lauer improve by about a second and a half.
Second and a half. Something to watch out
And
for.
that's a big improvement.
It is.
This could be an interesting one to watch.
Let's see how it plays out.
Meanwhile, not to be lost in all of it, the Redhawks could really use first place points as well.
That's right. Are there points added on for a potential Mets record?
No,
No.
the meet has.
You would think that would be the case, no?
No,
A bonus?
no. I mean, look at Webb.
Well, based on what we've seen here, she's very much in the lead right now, and she's
More
got
than
about
a body length already. She
That's
was
incredible.
at more than a body length by the time she reached the wall.
It's incredible. 24:68, Joe.
Wow.
24:68. As of right now, we're on pace for something very interesting at the end of this race.
Here we go.
Well ahead of the next best competitor
Joe,
here.
she's going to do it.
She is going to do it.
Nope,
No, she's not. Just a
No.
little off.
just off. Missed
Wow, by less than a second.
it. Less than a second.
No,
Just
I'm sorry,
about
a little over a second.
Just
A little over a
about.
second.
Just about.
1.06 off.
I don't know. So in
The
my
best
head,
record.
I had her seed time as the time to beat in
Right.
my head. But she does take first by
She
a
does
wide
take
margin.
first by, and she improved
She did
on
improve
that
as well.
scorching pace by 51. She made it very, very interesting. We were rooting for her up here, but Maya Webb of Roberts Wesleyan University taking the women's 100-yard freestyle A final here.
I'm trying to recall. I mean, I can look at tonight's events and see if any of these records were set in a year that I covered. I don't believe so. Trying to think back, I don't know if we've seen a meet record. I want to say we've seen one.
Okay.
You know what? We can actually check that. Hand me those two sheets on the bottom there. While you introduce the men's C finalists.
That's right. So in the men's 100-yard freestyle C final, we have Alan Martikayev of Brooklyn College in lane 2, Aiden Hope of Maritime in lane 3. We have Liam McManus of Maritime in lane 4. We have Alex Anastasiadis, right, of Maritime in lane 5. We have Aaron Grishkona of Brooklyn College in lane 6. And we have Carlos Garcia Nunez of Brooklyn College in lane 7. So 6 swimmers in this race. And as I finished that, we're about halfway through. So
I have seen a record. I did recall correctly. I've actually seen 2.
I'll go for you.
2 individual records, that is.
I'd like to see an individual record.
3 total. Meanwhile, here in the C final in lane 4, McManus has a narrow lead over Anastasiadis, and he is going to hold on to that lead of about a body length, coming in with a time of 54.41. So the records I've seen belong to Kinsey Brooks in the 200 IM. That one I remember. It was in 2022. In 2023, there was another record for the men in the 400 IM. Ryan Higgins set that record. That was in 2023. I'm trying to recall if I was here for all 3 days in 23. I think I was, so that means I did see that record as well. There was also a record in the 200 free relay in 22 that I covered as well. So I've seen 3.
Very, very nice. Hopefully, during my duration here, a part of the PDF family, I'll be able to see 1, maybe 2. Be nice. But as it stands, great job by McManus there. 54.41 officially his final time, winning the men's 100-yard freestyle C final. As we prepare for the B final, the swimmers are about to enter the pool. And we have Victor Pineda of Maritime in lane 1. We have Adam Byrne of Brew College in lane 2. We have Broden Baldwin of Roberts Wesleyan University in lane 3. We have John Spencer of Roberts Wesleyan University in lane 4. We have Major Adair of Gordon College in lane 5. We have Valentin Tidorenko of Brew College in lane 6. We have Aiden Soggs of Roberts Wesleyan University in lane 7. And we have James Lee of Brooklyn College in lane 8. And Joe, we're off and running. Swimming, actually.
Yeah, we're not running anywhere.
We're not running anywhere.
I'm definitely not running anywhere. In
the only
the
thing
heat
we're
of the
running
building.
through is the commentary for this race.
That's right. Only 100 yards. It ends rather quickly. In lane 5, Major Adair, about 0.2 of a second ahead of John Spencer. Those two are about stroke for stroke right now, headed for the wall.
Yep, and according to our seed time totals, it was Baldwin, Spencer, and Adair. Not much dividing them, all within well under a minute. So as we approach the final half, Joe, let's take it to you.
Adair has the lead. It is growing, and he is going to take first in the B final, followed by John Spencer, Valentin Tidorenko, Broden Baldwin, Adam Byrne, Aiden Soggs, Victor Pineda, and James Lee.
So once again, a little deviation from the totals that we saw here. It was Spencer with the best seed time total entering this race, but he ended up finishing second. The men's 100-yard freestyle A final. Joe, are you ready?
I am.
Let's meet our swimmers. In lane 1, we have Andon Fedor of Roberts Wesleyan University. In lane 2, we have Roger Sanchez of Lehman College. In lane 3, we have Lucas Vasquez of Brew College. In lane 4, we have Anthony Puchis of Roberts Wesleyan University. In lane 5, we have Youssef Alkuli of Brew College. In lane 6, we have Jefferson Tejera of Lehman College. In lane 6, we have James Branoff of Gordon College. And lane 8, we have Danny Moda of Gordon College.
So Anthony gave us his last name last night, Petosha. In lane 4. So Joe, while we have a moment, let's take a deeper dive into those seed times for this heat and see what lanes we have to watch here tonight.
So far, he was fifth in the 100 dress and third in 53. 2025 ECAC Open qualifier.
You have the highlighted sheet. I do not. So
The Pietrus, right? Of
Petosha.
Tosha. That's the guy from yesterday.
I said that. I just said that.
Why do I keep forgetting? That's terrible.
He came and gave us his name, Joe.
That is terrible. So Petosha.
Petosha. Yes. I have
Hopefully,
the voice
hopefully
memo.
his friend's not listening.
The SID in me pulls voice memos. Whenever someone has a pronunciation,
That's
just
excellent.
make a voice memo of it, and then you have it for good. In this case, for the weekend.
Of Roberts Wesleyan University, 45.19. He is the swimmer with the best seed time total and the swimmer who will pace this race.
Record in this event, 43.34. I do not think that will be threatened. Ben Michelson, a record holder across so many events in this Mets championship. Those records now, many of them go back 20 years.
And in lane 8, he is also part of the record-setting 200 free and men's.
Final introductions just completed. Those bios have such detail, it makes our job much harder. They're showing us up on public address. Maybe next year, we need to get those bios copied and handed over to us.
That's right.
That'd be a great idea if they could put those into a
Yeah, I
Word
was
file.
going to say, I mean.
I need to find out. I think they're handwritten, though.
They are handwritten?
Yeah.
I was going to say.
If they're digital,
easy. A Mets media packet, right? That just kind of outlines the schedule and pronunciation.
Well, they have
big
that.
thing.
They have that.
Oh, they do have the media
have
packet.
that.
They do. Okay.
What we need, though, is access to those bio sheets for the broadcast.
Yes, those would be very important.
We'll have to make that suggestion next year.
Very important. It would improve the quality of the broadcast for family and friends who are watching and listening at home, supporting on.
Or we just shut up
fellow
and turn it over
swimmers.
to PA.
Well, we do have a race to call, and we're almost.
We're
through it,
3/4 of the
Joe.
way there, Joe. Big lead in lane 4. Anthony Pietosha. Headed for the touch pad, gaining on him, Youssef El Kouli, but he will not be able to make up his entire deficit as Pietosha takes first, El Kouli second, Tejera third, Vasquez fourth, Branov fifth, Sanchez sixth, Fedor seventh, and Moda eighth.
So once again, everything almost holding true to form. Pietosha with the best finish. El Kouli finishing second. And he did better in his seat time total by about a couple tenths of a second, but not enough to push it to the Mets record.
Heat 1, B final, women's 200 breaststroke. One of 2 individual events left on the program tonight.
That's right. Only 3 swimmers in this race. Occupying lane 3, we have Gloria Glenn of John Jay College. In lane 2, we have Ella Schisler of Gordon College. And in lane 5, we have Daria Votinskaya of Baruch College.
So not a crowded pool to get us started in the women's 200 breast. Now, this is a B final, so we'll have 3 swimmers in the B final and then 8 in the A final. As for the men, they will have 4 in the B final, 1 in the A final. Taking a look ahead just a bit to the butterfly in the A final for the women, just 5 swimmers, make that 6. B final of 3 for the men, and then the A final.
Boy, what a torrid pace here the last couple of, maybe the last half hour or so, one right after the other, Joe.
Things have really picked up here at the Mets, and we're closing in now on our final heats of the night.
So if Nick Durst was here and you said business is picking up, he would make a wrestling reference.
Would he?
And he would be like, business is picking up, to quote the great Jim Ross somewhere. So again, we don't know who's listening or watching who actually watches wrestling at home, but we definitely know that Nick Durst watches wrestling, and he loves incorporating his wrestling references into the broadcast.
You don't know this, Joe. We have a member of the crew who absolutely despises wrestling.
Really?
Unfortunately, his name is on the company name.
Wow.
It's Dave.
He's not a wrestling guy,
wrestling.
huh?
He hates wrestling.
He hates wrestling.
Hates
That's a little staunch. But listen, different strokes for different folks. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. In our case, you and I.
You're thinking, Joe, I better tread lightly. My job might be on the line. He's got the hands up and everything.
There's significant overlap when it comes to our interests as a group collectively. And I also think that kind of plays into just the natural chemistry that we have here. But for Dave, I do not know if you are listening at home. I do not listening if you're listening on your car radio. I promise, no more references from me. I was just referencing.
I will. My name is also.
Don't shoot the middleman. Don't shoot the messenger. I was referencing the referencer.
My name is in the acronym. I will make all of my wrestling references as long as it's just me on the call. If Dave is here, we'll ease off. Women's 200 breast B final continues. Final 50 here with the lead in lane 5, Daria Voinitskaya. Not far behind, Ella Schisler in lane 4, followed by Gloria Glenn in lane 3. We may have a close finish here. It looks like Schisler might be gaining. Final 25, the swimmers cross the midway point of the pool at almost the exact same time. Schisler continuing to gain and has now taken the lead, heading for the touch pad. It will still be close, but it looks like Ella Schisler will take first place in the B final, women's 200-yard breaststroke. Daria Voinitskaya finishes behind her by about a second, and Gloria Glenn will take third.
All three swimmers improving on their totals from their seat times, but it was Ella Schisler, nonetheless, of Gordon College, taking the women's 200-yard breaststroke B final. As we await the A finalists.
Coming out to some triumphant music here. Funny thing is, I know this instrumental from Rocky. I could not tell you the name of the song. What I can tell you is it will get us a copyright strike.
Yes, it will get us copyright. Hold on. So that's my job to talk over that to avoid that.
That's right.
In lane 1, we have Leanne Dolph of Roberts Wesleyan University. In lane 2, we have Lauren Barito of Maritime College. In lane 3, we have Anastasia Kudasov of Brooklyn College. In lane 4, we have Emma Lipiet of Gordon College. In lane 5, we have Grace McHugh of Maritime College. In lane 6, we have Joyce Wong of Brew College. In lane 7, we had trouble with this name yesterday, right? Do we have the full name in front of us?
That I have to look up.
Yes.
Should have written it down. That's what would have been
So I
the
can't
wise
pronounce the
thing.
last name, Akhmedilieva, right?
Yes.
Of Hunter College. So unfortunately, her first name is cut off on the big scoreboard here, but she is in lane 7. And then we have Eva Garda Vasquez of Sarah Lawrence College in lane 8. And based on what we see over here, it is Emma Lipiet of Gordon College with a seat time total of 2:35.43. Based on that total, she is the swimmer who is expected to set the pace in this race. And we will watch Grace McHugh in lane 5. And we will also watch Anastasia Kudasov in lane 3, Joe.
So full first name, Parvina.
Parvia.
And
Parvia-
that even might be a shortened version, but that's the version Swim Cloud has.
Dilieva.
I would say Makhmedilieva. I'd venture to guess that many have tried and many have failed.
Many have tried, many have failed. Russian or any type of Slavic language in general is incredibly difficult to pick up.
Introduction's nearly complete. Let's see how they pronounce it on PA.
Two-time King All-Star from Hunter College, Parvina Makhmedilieva.
Parkmadilieva. I had it right.
You were good, Joe.
It was about time I got something right.
I would say you know he's wrong, but you were right this time.
I think under the circumstances, being thrown into the fire a little bit without really, again, correct
It's certainly hot in here.
pronunciations, which we pride ourselves on. Got to get
We
as
try.
accurate as you possibly can.
Absolutely.
Again, for anybody watching and listening at home, I think overall you and I have done a great job. And again, your college background, us working at the College of Staten Island, you in that assistant SID role, you pride yourself on working with the student athletes.
I'm the head guy now.
You're the head guy now. You're the head honcho.
For now. Help.
Well, let's talk about the head female swimmer in this race.
That
As
is
of right
Emma
now, it is
Lipiat
Emma
in lane
Lipiat.
4. Correct. Women's 200-yard breaststroke A final. After that, we just have a few more individual heats tonight before we wrap up with the 400-yard freestyle relay. After that, they will tally up the points, and we will turn it over to public address for the announcement of our winning teams. Things have tightened up near the top of the field in this race. It is Anastasia Kudasov in lane 3 now, who is very quickly gaining on Emma Lipiat. And it looks like off that last turn, she may have taken the lead. Lanes 3 and 4, Kudasov, Lipiat, stroke for stroke, heading for the touch pad. And they are 0.2 of a second apart.
Whew. Oh boy, 38-91 for each of them respectively, Joe, on that last split.
Grace McHugh in the mix as well.
Matching stroke for stroke, and as of right now, it's incredibly difficult. Maybe a hand length right now for Lippiatt in first.
This one could be decided by a fingertip.
Whew. This is incredible stuff, Joe. At the moment, the last 2 lengths in the poll, maybe 3 lengths, they've been going stroke for stroke, totally even.
It looks like Lippiatt now gaining an edge as she heads for the touchpad. She will arrive first by about half a second. It looks like off of the turns, Kutuzov may be gaining an edge, but after that, it is Lippiatt who is slowly building momentum.
So it seems like McHugh right now in lane 5 has overtaken Kutuzov for second, Joe.
I have to stop everything, Joe. We have a very important shout-out request for Jennifer Pizzuto, who's watching along with our producer Dave back at home. If Jen wants a shout-out, we have to stop everything we're doing and make sure we shout her out. So we do so right here as Lippiatt has built a nice lead heading for the touchpad once again, and she comes in at 2:34.90. That's about a second and a half ahead of Grace McHugh, who overtook Anastasia Kutuzov for second. Kutuzov takes third with a time of 2:38.05, followed by Barito, Wong, Makhmadelieva, Dolph, and Garda Vasquez.
Yep, so basically the seed time totals and that A final holding true to form 1, 2, and 3.
Dave said one more thing.
Oh no.
Oh no for you
Oh
is
no, I know it's
no wrestling.
it's okay.
That's right. One day he will acknowledge.
That's okay. Well, your name's on the
right.
the company name, so you can
That's
do that.
right. Maybe one day we can get Paul Heyman to introduce me to the broadcast as well.
Possibly. But Dave, as it stands right now, I know you're listening. No more from me, no mas. We got the men's 200-yard breaststroke, the B final. We only have 4 swimmers in this race, occupying lanes 3 to 6. We have Aziz Abdusamiev in lane 3 from Brooklyn College. In lane 4, we have Duncan Hugh of Baruch College. In lane 5, we have Alvaro Calaboza.
You weren't here for night one.
I was not here. He did not swim yesterday, so now I fully understand the reference. Of Brooklyn College in lane 5. And we have Ryan Bader-Hume, of Brooklyn College in lane 6.
Yeah, that is too good, playing off your last name of Calabrese.
It's insane.
It is in lane 4 right now. Duncan Huey with a lead of about a body length. Calabozo in second as he makes his turn at the wall. Lead remains consistent. Huey in front by about a body length. He heads for the touchpad, and we are halfway home in the men's 200 breast B final. A final coming up next, followed by a single A final, 1 heat in the women's 200-yard butterfly, a pair of heats in the men's 200-yard butterfly, and then our final relay of the weekend, following what we expect will be a 20-minute break. However,
unfortunately,
we'll
don't have many races left to go, Joe.
Time has really flown by tonight. It's been a good time here
Time
at the
flies
Mets.
when you're having fun.
That's right.
Time swims fast when you're having fun. How do we want to word that?
I don't know if that quite works. I think the appropriate terminology would be time strokes.
Time strokes.
Yeah. And
I happen to
thanks.
think you would be right that. I don't think that works either, so no thank you.
No, thank you. We'll stay in the air. We'll
flying. Stay, that's
We're
fine.
Flying. Final 50 here, and the lead has grown for Duncan Huey. Calabozo behind him, followed by Abdusamiev. Making his turn at the wall, Huey. Lead of just about over a body length over Calabozo. Huey will take first. Calabozo will take second. Abdusamayev will take third. And Bader Hume will take fourth in the B final of the men's 200-yard breaststroke.
2:42.55, the official time for Duncan Hugh of Baruch College. And Alvaro Calabozo of Brooklyn College, second, 2:45.08. But that is the B final.
Still waiting on the time from Ryan Bader Hume of Brooklyn College. 3 Bulldogs in this heat. It is the lone Bearcat, Duncan Huey, who takes first. Final time for Ryan Bader Hume, 3:24.53.
A lot of support in the live chat for the Bearcats.
Seen that all weekend
All
long.
weekend long. Well supported, the College Bearcats.
Now, what they need to do is get a highly recognizable team chant going and bring that support into the rec center. Because
Absolutely.
opportunity here to really make yourself heard on the broadcast. If you get loud enough, we might just pick you up.
Absolutely. We'd rather pick up the natural crowd noise and support of those who are here supporting the swimmers as opposed to anything outside the PA over the loudspeakers. That would provide a significant problem for us.
So Ryan Bader Hume was just disqualified in that B final. So you can scratch that time of 3:24.53 as we get set to meet the A finalist in the men's 200-yard breaststroke.
So, Joe, in lane 1, we have John Spencer of Roberts Wesleyan University. In lane 2, we have Johnny Mins of Gordon College. In lane 3, we have Tommy Booth of Roberts Wesleyan University. In lane 4, we have Ramil Fangarash of Baruch College. In lane 5, we have Rowan Hayes of Maritime College. In lane 6, we have Jordan Lynn of Baruch College. In lane 7, we have Braden Mitchell of Roberts Wesleyan University. In lane 8, we have Christos. I had difficulty yesterday. I had difficulty yesterday with this. Hamakiotis. Christos Hamakiotis of Baruch College in lane 8.
We'll see how close we were as the swimmers are introduced over PA, but I think considering that we've had very little assistance this weekend, we've done pretty well with pronunciations. It's always an adventure when you're seeing these names for the first time. You can go and look at every school's roster, but even then, that sometimes doesn't prepare you. So while we have some more time, Joe, let's get a look at the seed times in depth here. Near the top, awfully close.
Yes, it is awfully close here at the top. We got Fangarash here coming in at a time of 2:09.85, but less than 3/10 behind is Rowan Hayes of Maritime. So not really a favorite, so to speak, in this race. So we'll see if Rowan Hayes can cut off that 3/10 total and kind of take that off of Fangarash to finish first here.
You get a look.
Based on what we see on our seat time total, Joe, it seems like it's going to be a 2-swimmer race. So we'll see how that plays out.
See in a lot of these races, a constant theme, a lot of Bearcats in lanes 4 and 5.
Absolutely.
Big opportunity here for Rowan Hayes of SUNY Maritime to perhaps knock off one of the Baruch swimmers. It's been all Bearcats this weekend. 2 more introductions to go down at the pool. Can't say enough about how in-depth these bios are. And I will be certain to make a point next year of getting those shared with us if possible. But as I said, Joe, I'm actually watching the PA announcer read off the handwritten postcards.
Hamakiotis.
Got it right.
You got it right. That's all that matters. You know I'm right.
You certainly know that I'm right.
You know we're right. Doesn't quite as roll off the tongue as well as you know I'm
You're right. It doesn't.
But you are right.
Try putting that on a hoodie.
Individually,
it won't work.
yes. Well, the race is off. You know I'm right.
That didn't take much. Fane Gersh with the lead, swimming out of lane 4 through the first 25. think what we just saw right there is a large part of what distinguishes an A finalist from perhaps a B finalist or a C finalist. Did you see how long those underwaters were?
Yes.
Almost 2/3 the length of the pool.
2/3 of the length of the pool.
I could tell you that they were not getting that kind of movement off the wall in the B final and the C final.
No, absolutely not.
That being said, there are fewer heats in this particular event as well, just a B final and an A final. But the top of the field versus the bottom half of the field, you can really tell the difference just by watching the underwaters.
Individual technique, it's very noticeable. We have a race right now. Not much, just like not much separated these two based on their seat time totals. Just like we saw a couple races ago, they're going length for length right now. But as it stands, it still seems like Fangirsch is in the lead by about an arm length.
It's not by much.
No.
And we'll see if anything changes off the wall here.
And that was a good push off the wall by Fangirsch. Put a little more distance over there. Maybe about now a full body length.
Yep. That turn gained him some extra breathing room here, heading into the final 50.
And as we look at the pace, 32.28 for Fangirsch, and 33.72 for Rowan Hayes. So 5/10 separating each swimmer here. Not much has changed between these two based on our sheet totals.
And it doesn't appear as if they are going to trade places anytime soon. Emil Fangirsch headed for the touch pad with a lead of more than a body length. And he is going to take first place in this A final of the men's 200-yard breaststroke. Rowan Hayes finishing behind him by about 2.5 seconds. A little bit more. Tommy Booth will take third. Jordan Lynn will head into the touch pad, placing fourth. In lane 2, Johnny Mins will take fifth. It looks like in lane 6, Braden Mitchell will take sixth. It's going to be close in lanes 1 and 8, but in lane 1, it is John Spencer who takes 7th, and Christos Hamakiotis will take 8th.
Emil Fangirsch, final time of 2:05.93. Another win and another Bearcat representing the college well here in Piscataway. The beautiful, beautiful facility that we're in here on the campus of Rutgers University.
You know, I have to admit, as I was driving out of the campus earlier today, had to make a package pickup ahead of my departure from New Jersey for 17 days later in the week, but I was really taking in the campus. It is a very nice campus.
Beautiful campus.
I've been here before, but I haven't driven around extensively. I get in, and I'm at the rec center. I don't get a chance to drive around that much, but
you want a fun
really
fact?
Nice.
You want a fun fact?
Sure.
I actually, at a high school, I made Rutgers' business school. I did not end up attending Rutgers. I decided to attend Marist College, which is now Marist University. They play in the MAC instead. But Rutgers was really, it was a significant option for me. It was right up there. And I have family members. I have a younger cousin. She plays high school sports now. She's a high school basketball and softball player. Ideally, she's an Edison resident. So right down the road, a little less than 10 to 15 minutes away. She's eyeing Rutgers, not so much her younger twin sister. But let's get back to the swimming action. We have the women's 200-yard butterfly final here, Joe. We got the A final, and let's meet the swimmers. 6 swimmers in this race. In lane 2, we have Lily Foisey of Gordon College. In lane 3, we have Gina Alouette of Gordon College. In lane 4, we have Elise Alexander of Baruch College. In lane 5, we have Kayla Nicholas of Maritime College. In lane 6, we have Juliana French of Roberts Wesleyan University. And in lane 7, we have Melissa Yu of Baruch College. And if we look at the seed time totals for this race, it is Elise Alexander, Joe, entering with a time of 2:17.7. There really is not an individual swimmer in this race kind of close to that pace. Stranger things have happened. We'll see how that goes. But if you're a Baruch right now, if you're in a Bearcat, you're supporting the Bearcats at home, you got to feel really, really strong, comfortable about this individual race right before we start here.
Well, they were calling Elise Alexander Queen Elise in the chat last night.
Queen Elise.
Hearkening her inner Charlotte Flair, perhaps?
That's right.
That's wrong, Joe. You're supposed to disagree.
Well, you set me up.
I did. I set you up. I did.
Now, the problem is if I did a certain thing that I know Nick would do that I'm not going to do, that would get me in trouble. by a certain
All right.
person,
All
but
right,
I'm
you
not
know-
going to do that, and the race is off.
If there had been a record set, I would have allowed it.
Okay.
As an equal partner, I would have allowed it. Women's 200-yard butterfly A final. Big lead early for Alexander by about maybe 2 or 3 body lengths already.
Queen Elise. And her first split time is a total of 28:05.
And that's about 4 seconds or more ahead of everyone else.
4 3/10 to
in
be
the field.
exact.
Yeah. Yep.
So we'll see. It is now Kayla Nicholas of Maritime College in lane 5, currently in second. So we'll see if her or anybody else individually could be able to chop some time off of that split time total. But as it stands now, Joe, it seems like Elise Alexander, her lead is now growing, and it's probably about half the length of the pool.
Well, if the seed times and the start to this race are any indication, it's going to be a race for second, Joe. Alexander with a huge lead and is showing no signs of letting up. Her lead about 2/3 the length of the pool. And look at those splits, Joe. She came in 7 seconds ahead of her next 2 closest competitors. That's incredible.
That is incredible. This is an unbelievable individual effort right now.
Alexander headed for the touchpad. We'll get there at about 137. 136.88 officially. That split slowed a bit, but still well ahead of the rest of the field. Kayla Nicholas heading for the touchpad in second, followed by Gina Alette swimming in lane 3. Alexander seed time at about 2:17.7. She is poised to surpass that by a few. And officially, she will clock in at 2:14.91. That's a big first place score for Baruch.
Very big first place score, almost 3 seconds better than her seed time total, and that is impressive, and it is also important for Baruch, because as we've seen here throughout the day, Joe, Roberts Wesleyan University has been well represented.
It is going to be potentially, if things play out the right way in our last couple of events, more specifically the women's 400 free relay, it could be very interesting.
So
where we
finishing
end
in
up.
second, we have Gina Alouette.
Boy, would I love to know the scores entering that relay.
That's right. And in lane 5, we have Kayla Nicholas with an official time of 2:39.25, finishing in third.
Somebody has to hook us up with Meet Mobile.
I agree.
I'll have to test it out during the season next year, get familiar, and I'll buy it ahead of the meet next year. It's not a lot.
No, it's not.
It's not. All right, the men are up next. B final 200-yard butterfly. Just 3 swimmers in the pool here.
Yes. In lane 3, we have Eric Umcave of Brooklyn College. In lane 4, we have Jackson Lerner of Maritime College. And in lane 5, we have Aiden Soggs of Roberts Wesleyan University.
Jackson Lerner in lane 4 of Mount St. Mary.
So he is the swimmer to pace in this race. He had a seat time total of 2 minutes and 24 seconds and 87. So the next closest swimmer was Soggs. He finished about 20 seconds behind. Currently, Lerner is in the lead right now. He's got about a body length of lead as he comes to the touchpad. So as this race progresses, we'll see just how much cushion he is able to put between him and the other 2 swimmers, Joe.
His lead is growing, and it is growing quickly as he heads for the wall. Once again, we might be looking at a race for second here. We'll see if things tighten up a bit as this race draws closer to its conclusion. Seat time separated by almost 20 seconds, so this is not exactly unexpected given what we saw during the prelims earlier.
sizable lead that's approaching it's actually at a half a pool length.
Stroke for stroke from Keeve and Soggs in lanes 3 and 6, or 5, excuse me.
About 8.5 seconds is the difference right now between Lerner and right now Aiden Soggs.
This heat is going to belong to Lerner. The question is, who takes second place behind him? Final 50 here, for Lerner anyway. Soggs now has a distinct advantage of about a body length, maybe 2, heading for the touchpad in lane 5.
I asked you this yesterday. Maybe you can give me a better answer. What do you think is your best individual stroke in the pool?
Mine?
Yes.
None of the above. I can't swim though, I can promise you that.
I was always a good backstroke person, but again, I have, relative to my size, which is pretty average height-wise, I have lengthy arm size.
Well, we're going to have to get you on film.
We have Jackson Lerner finishing in first place, Joe, with a time of 2:19.94. So 5 seconds better than his seat time total, swimming an excellent race here.
We've been looking to develop some original content here on PDF. Perhaps we get our crew trying out some of the sports that we cover.
Absolutely. A PDF swim race.
How fast can you swim? How far can I throw a football if my shoulder ever heals?
We went through this already. See, I can't throw an NFL football because, again, with the hand size. But if you gave us a college football, we could easily sling that 50 to 60 yards.
Easily?
I did it in the MetLife parking lot a couple years ago when we went to a Jets tailgate. I have witnesses. Nick saw me do that. He'll say, Joe's got a pretty good arm throw. But again, it's throwing a college ball. College ball's a little different than the pro ball.
A final, men's 200-yard butterfly, our final individual event of the night.
Amazing. Long weekend, Joe. We're almost done. Last individual race, and then we have 2 team races to finish the night here. But for the men's 200-yard butterfly, the A final, in lane 1, we have Kyle Giuliano of Maritime College. In lane 2, we have Patrick.
That's Mount St. Mary, Joe.
Mount St. Mary's, I'm sorry. My apologies. In lane 2, we have Patrick Rao of Sarah Lawrence College. In lane 3, we have Luca Shapiro of Brew College. In lane 4, we have Michael Guzman of Brew College. In lane 5, we have Michael Kravitz of Brooklyn College. In lane 6, we have Eric Goldstein of Brew College. In lane 7, we have Dylan Selamare of Brew College. And in lane 8, we have Parker Endress of Maritime College. That's correct.
A lot of Bearcats up there.
A lot of Bearcats. Speaking of the Bearcats, last individual race. This is one of those 2-3 races that we marked off before the event started today. Seat time totals here, negligible. We have Michael Guzman, right, and who enters with a best time total of 2:04.86 to be exact, but each within 1 full second off that pace is Michael Kravitz of Brooklyn College in lane 5, and Guzman's teammate, Lucas Shapiro of Baruch in lane 3. Exactly 1 full second off that seat time total. So, seems like this could really be anybody's race as we conclude the individual race portion of the Mets Sunday, day 3.
Well, I have to say, over the course of the weekend, we have not had that many events come down to the wire. There have been a lot of very decisive victories this weekend.
We had about 1 or 2 races yesterday, and there was 1 or 2 before, I think, but collectively there has been some distance between the lead swimmers.
It's 1, and then after that it gets rather close.
Yes. So we are going to have an incredibly exciting finish here. The men's 200 butterfly A final.
Are you manifesting again, Joe?
I am manifesting. I manifest every single second of every single day.
I don't manifest. I am a manifestation. The walking manifestation.
Well, on that note,
a final men's 200-yard butterfly is underway. All 8 swimmers take to the pool and off the starting blocks in lanes 4 and 5. Guzman and Kravitz were near the front of the field, not far behind in lane 3, Lucas Shapiro. Lanes 3, 4, and 5 right now at the front of the pack. narrow lead for Michael Guzman. Guzman's lead is growing, heading toward the touchpad, and he's going to come in about 0.5 of a second ahead of Lucas Shapiro. Though officially, Kravitz registered the fastest time. I don't know how that's possible based on what I saw visually.
Absolutely.
I'm correct, right?
Yes, I think you are correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm right is also warranted in that
Yeah,
instance.
I think it was certainly Guzman who got to the touchpad first.
And it is Guzman as of right now who's about half a body length in front on this go around as he touches the touchpad. So
Kravitz just swam a 16:50.
he did. So on that last split, Joe, we had Guzman come in at 35. Shapiro, his teammate Baruch, fellow Bearcats, 0.3 behind him, and then a little bit behind that we have Kravitz. So
see, I think Kravitz was further behind than that.
yes, I would absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
And there's Guzman here, about 2 full body lengths.
Does the system know he just swam a 16:50? They're giving him a little boost.
Not entirely
It's
sure
impressive
about
that he's even here performing at this level. He is third to the touchpad right now. According to our scoreboard, about 6 seconds off the first place pace, 3 seconds behind second place.
Seems like Michael Guzman of Baruch is really bringing his A game.
He's run away with it. He has run away with it. He is going to take first. His team encouraging him toward the final touch. And he will come in sub 2 minutes, 1:58.99. Behind him, Michael Guzman, or I should say behind Michael Guzman is Lucas Shapiro, 2:04.44, and then Michael Kravitz, 2:09.43. The rest of the field, Goldstein takes 4th, Rao takes 5th, Endra 6th, Salamari 7th, and Giuliano 8th. Joe, that does it for our individual events.
Yes, 2 races left, Joe. But we got a break, right?
We think so.
We think so.
I think I know.
We were
so
supposed to
this
have
time.
a break, but I think, again, with time constraints and everything,
I don't
that
think
started
that matters.
Sunday.
I don't know if that break was slotted, but I can tell you we are going to take a 20-minute break right now. So Joe and I will step off headset. When we come back, we're going to have one question for you. Are you ready for some relays? Our final event of the weekend, the 400-yard freestyle relay, coming up in 20 minutes. And Joe, for one last time this weekend, we are back here on the PDF Sports Network. Joe Foreman alongside Joe Calabrese. And it is that time again. Joe, what time is it? It's relay time!
There you go. Very good. Very, very good.
I think that was a step above yesterday.
I think so, too.
I agree. All right, let's meet the teams. Women's 400-yard freestyle relay.
So in lane 1, we have John Jay College. In lane 2, we have Mount St. Mary College. In lane 3, we have Hunter College. In lane 4, we have Roberts Wesleyan University. In lane 5, we have Baruch College. In lane 6, we have Sarah Lawrence College. In lane 7, we have Gordon College. And in lane 8, we have Brooklyn College. And Joe, this is important because in lanes 4 and 5, we have Roberts Wesleyan University. We have Baruch College. And for the women entering today, there was a very, very narrow gap. So we'll see. Like last night, the final race that we did was the relay. That seemed to play a factor entering Sunday. For here, could determine the winner.
The question is just how close are those two scores, Baruch and Roberts
Wish we had
Wesleyan?
the totals in front of us.
Yeah. We'll find out how close it was shortly.
Yes, sir. We certainly will.
Final women's event of the weekend, our final relay between the men and the women is the 400-yard freestyle relay. Silence falls over the building. And we are underway. Once again, we do not have the names of the individual swimmers, so we do apologize for that. But we will do our best to follow the action for you without their names. Now, I was thinking perhaps Maya Webb starting off for Roberts Wesleyan.
Absolutely. It seems that way because we have a 25-29 split time here in the first portion of this race. And Roberts Wesleyan has about a body length lead on Mount St. Mary's here, currently in the 2 spots.
Strong start for the Red Hawks. Not too far behind are the Knights, followed by the teams down near the bottom of the screen in lanes 6, 7, and 8. 27-54 split for the Red Hawks there in that previous 50, followed by the Knights, Griffins, Scots, Bulldogs, Bloodhounds, Bearcats as well. Keep in mind, Baruch, the 5, effectively the second best time in prelims. Roberts Wesleyan in lane 4. They own the top time from prelims. Keep in mind as well that I shouldn't say prelims, I should say seed time. There are no prelims for the relays.
So on that
Force of habit.
That last split, Joe, Roberts Wesleyan coming at 28.78. Mount St. Mary's coming at 27.76. A couple of other schools coming on sub 28 here. So it seems like everybody is gaining a little bit of ground, but based on what we're seeing right now, that lead continues to be about 2 full body lengths here for Roberts Wesleyan University in lane 4.
Third swimmer into the pool for the Red Hawks and the Knights, as well as the Scots and the Griffins in lane 6 and 7.
We are just over halfway home, Joe.
Well, it looks like the Knights have been overtaken. In fact, the Scots dead even with them through the first 100, so that's something to watch as well. The lead still belongs to Roberts Wesleyan. Second could go any of 3 ways, Joe. Lanes 2, 6, and 7, all stroke for stroke. Final swimmer set to enter the pool for Roberts Wesleyan right here. Their seed time at 3:47. That last touch came at 2:51. Roberts still has the lead. It is still anybody's race for second.
Isn't this great? Everybody's on their feet making noise, whoever's left over here in Rutgers.
The crowd loves themselves a relay almost as much as we do. Almost. Almost. It doesn't appear as if anyone is going to be able to push the Red Hawks. And it looks like Roberts will take first. The race for second still very much open. Looks like in lane 7, Gordon College has the fast track to second. Roberts.
There you have it. Roberts
first.
Wesleyan University in first place, Joe.
They do come in ahead of their seed time. Gordon College takes second. Sarah Lawrence third. Mount St. Mary fourth.
Be very interesting to see. Again, we don't have the names in front of us. Who swam for Baruch? Baruch with a 6th place finish.
I think a lot of swimmers who also were in other A finals tonight. That would be my guess.
That would be my guess as well.
When it comes to scoring, depth is huge because in an event like this, obviously, if you have that depth, it makes it that much easier to put up a quality time.
So officially, Roberts Wesleyan University taking first place in the women's 400-yard freestyle relay with an official time of 3 minutes, 46 seconds, and 46 hundredths. And then in second place, Gordon College at 3:50.90. And then in third place, Sarah Lawrence College at 3:54.84, Joe.
Attention please, in the women's 400-yard freestyle relay, lane 1 has been disqualified.
Lane 1 has been disqualified. So John Jay, who came in 5th with an official time of 4:05.31, wiped that completely off the board, Joe.
Let's meet the teams competing in the
Final heat of the weekend. The men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
This is it, Joe.
Meet the teams.
We have 6 teams in this race, Joe. Occupying lane 2, we have the men from Brooklyn College. In lane 3, we have Lehman College. In lane 4, we have Baruch. In lane 5, we have Roberts Wesleyan University. In lane 6, we have Gordon College. And in lane 7, we have Maritime. This is it, Joe. First time for me calling the Mets here at Rutgers. I was not here Friday, but I was here yesterday, and I was here today. Just wanted to say that I appreciate you being here, being support. I think we had a really good time here. I think we had a really fun time here. First time me covering this event. Obviously for you, like you mentioned before, it is your 4th. So I just want to thank you for breaking me in a little bit. And let's take it home. Let's take it home really strong, Joe.
All right. Teams being introduced ahead of our final event of the weekend. And before we get underway, we'll take a quick look at the seed times. And as we saw in our last heat, the seed times don't necessarily tell the full story, but it is Baruch with the top seed time of 3:10.94. Roberts Wesleyan behind them at 3:18.95.
And for the final time this weekend, on this cold February weekend in 2025, Joe, we are underway.
Men's 400-yard freestyle relay. First to the wall, I believe, was Baruch. It was very close. It looks like all of these teams, stroke for stroke, through the first 50.
Right now, it seems like lanes 3, 4, and 5 are neck and neck as we see who touches the touchpad first. And based on the official scoreboard here, Baruch, you are correct, Joe, with a split time of 23:39 here to start the first leg of this relay. Lehman College actually, 23:28. So Baruch came in second right now, 23:39, and Roberts Wesleyan University was 3/10 behind Baruch. So 5/10 as of right now, separating the top 3, which are in lanes 3, 4, and 5.
Look how close it was between Baruch and Lehman.
And Baruch was able to chop off a couple of tenths, and now they have a 1/10 advantage here on Lehman College.
1/100th of a second separating Baruch and Lehman through that first 100. Two CUNYAC programs. Have a lot of experience covering them from the College of Staten Island's time in the CUNYAC. Headed to the wall, Baruch now gaining an edge. That edge growing toward a body length, and I think the turn just might get them there. Not quite. We are about to reach the halfway point. Third swimmer into the pool for the Bearcats, and now the Lightning. Waiting to join them.
And Baruch College
the Scots and the Redhawks.
And that last split, Joe, put about a second between them and Lehman and Roberts Wesleyan University. So based on the eye test right now, what was a body length lead has now turned into about 2.5 to 3 body lengths coming off the touchpad on that turn. And 22-32, Joe.
That lead's
Ferocious.
just growing. The lead is growing for the Bearcats. They do not appear to be tiring out the slightest. Baruch first to the wall by a wide margin. Second there, Lehman, followed by Gordon. Roberts Wesleyan in fourth. Final swimmer in for the Bearcats. And now the Lightning and the Scots. Baruch still with a sizable lead. And this is definitely their race to lose. It has been an impressive showing for the Baruch men all weekend. We mentioned the huge lead they had in the standings entering the night, and I don't think anything has changed.
I don't think anything has changed either. The Bearcats look like they're going to take this home, Joe, from the men's side.
Will it be the Scots or will it be the Lightning earning second place points?
Right now, virtual tie.
It is a dead heat heading for the final touch. It looks like the Scots may have a slight edge.
And Baruch at 3:09.85 officially clocking it first. And second, Joe, is...
How close? Lehman.
Woo!
8
9/100ths.
9/100ths.
9
Wow.
100ths.
Roberts Wesleyan fourth. SUNY Maritime fifth. And Brooklyn will take sixth in our final event of this 2025 Mets Championship.
Excellent call, pal. Once again, thank you for everything this weekend. I had a fun time yesterday. I had a fun time today.
Still more work to be done, Joe. They have to tally up the points and let us know who won. So we may have to step off headset for that. We will see.
Well, it seems like Baruch is going to maintain that lead for the men's side.
Well, for the men, yes.
But we have to figure out the women's side of things. And I imagine that's going to be the first score that we will hear once it's provided to us.
So we will see exactly what comes next. Now, there are situations where at the end of a meet like this, there will be an additional time trial. It probably wouldn't be on the very last day unless there is a chance for an NCAA qualification. We did see that once before, where on the final day of the meet, the University of Mary Washington participated in a relay time trial to conclude the meet, and with their time in that time trial, they did qualify for NCAA Nationals. So they are getting to work at the stats desk. To be honest, Joe, it does not take that long to compute those scores. So we should know. We should know shortly.
Absolutely. Obviously, there's a cumulative running total as the weekend goes on.
If it's really close, they may take a second look, but
yes,
we should know within the next couple of minutes.
As we mentioned, the men's side of things, it seems like Baruch's lead of a couple hundred points was maintained throughout this Sunday. The women's side of things, not so clear.
As we mentioned, it was razor thin, and the final relay of the night yesterday may have swung those top two spots in the standings in the favor of Roberts Wesleyan, but a lot more taking place this evening certainly could have changed that. And now we wait. There also typically have been award winners, diver of the meet, swimmer of the meet, MVP, different accolades awarded to student athletes. Once they begin to name the winners of those awards, Joe and I will get off headset and allow public address to take over from there. Joe and I will then come on headset one final time to put a wrap on this weekend here at the Mets. But as always, we thank Dan Drury from the conference, coach with Sarah Lawrence, for bringing us on and keeping us on. Initially, we made the connection from another swimming and diving coach that I've worked closely with, and Mike Akalitis at the College of Staten Island. He recommended us to the conference. At that time, CSI was participating. We came and made that connection, covered the meet for the first time in 2022. And we've been on board ever since, as Dan has remained in touch each of the last few years to bring us back. We're very thankful for that and for all of the support we've received from fans in attendance who have gotten the chance to watch at home. I did have some spectators tell us that it was nice to get a chance to watch from the air conditioning at home rather than in the very hot pool area.
It's a little steamy in here. Nothing that we can't handle, though.
I was told that our picture quality was better than being here in person. I think he may have been trying to flatter me, but
I'm pretty sure he was trying to flatter
I'll
with you.
take it. I'll take it. The lighting in here is not great.
Yeah,
so what I'm saying is there's a chance.
Well, where we are positioned, we're all the way up. There's really no light over here. And again, that's just, with the ceiling that we have on top of us, it's not really conducive to wiring. There's no really light over here. So we apologize for that. But if we did have a light over here, I think it would make a slight difference. But as it stands, I think where we're positioned is pretty good. I think the quality of the visual that we have for the viewers and the listeners at home is pretty good. And we hear some reaction below. So it's quite possible that there may be an inkling of where these final scores are going to lean, Joe.
Well, I am seated right now, so I did not see where those cheers are coming from. I'm about to be surprised.
Truly, truly, truly surprised.
Well, the public address announcer is at his post. It does not appear as if he's been passed any information yet, so the waiting pattern continues. It looks like they're cleaning up in the control room, so
I see that.
They're about wrapped up there, so they should know who the winning team is. The question is, has anyone else been informed yet?
Well, we sure as heck have not.
We're the last to know.
We are the last to know.
We're the furthest away.
Indeed we are, Joe. Indeed we are.
No direct line of communication for us to the area downstairs, but we continue to wait.
I'll tell you something. This weekend, Joe, has reinvigorated my passion to get back into the pool.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. We know you're not so much of a pool guy, but the story that I was telling everybody yesterday when I was younger, and Mr. Foreman to my right over here and I, we did grow up on Staten Island. When I was younger, I used to go to Staten Island Day Camp. The original location for that was at Moore Catholic. We used to go travel to the pool, and originally we would go back and forth during the day, and then in the latter years of the camp, we had a partnership, and we had the camp at CSI, and that is why I know the rec building so well. I cannot get away from it, no matter what happens. Seems like destiny kind of continues pulling you in that direction. But when I was younger, we used to use the pool at the day camp. So that was a lot of fun, and we would swim, I think, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So we had a lot of access to the pool, and we had a lot of fun. And again, a swimmer from a young age, didn't do it competitively or any of that, but I was a good swimmer. You know, I do have some length, even though I'm kind of an average height. I do have some length in my arms, so that is conducive to good swimming. I used to love swimming. Hopefully this weekend continues to kind of get that spark back for me. You know, maybe you'll see me on faculty days at the college moving forward, Joe.
Perhaps I will, and I don't think I'm built. I guess when I was at my leanest, I was probably built for swimming. I'm built more for running.
Height to you. You're a little
I'm built
leaner,
more for running.
I don't want to say lanky because some people take that to heart.
Well, I'm lanky now, that's for
but
sure.
But in comparison to you're sure.
I wasn't lanky at 205, but I'm definitely lanky now.
So I do think that if you were to get into the pool, just again based on your natural stature and the way you have your natural build, you got a little height to you. You do have a little of that same wingspan that I do. I do think that if you really worked at it, you know, you could be a good swimmer.
Yeah, I think my days as an athlete are past me, but
doesn't mean you can't get into the pool and just.
Yeah.
It's excellent exercise. Excellent.
Well, I can get behind that.
There are very few, especially for cardio, you know, very few types of activities that are out there that are better for your cardio than your heart, and everything is connected. Very few things out there better than swimming.
And in my 4 years covering the meet, I cannot remember it ever being this long before the winner was announced. That leads me to believe that it's close.
It has to be close.
Watch, the scores will come, and it will not be close.
Maya Webb started the night with a big win, and then that race at the end, the relay, the Roberts Wesleyan race. So we had it last night, and then I think that was enough, right? That's kind of seems like where we're leaning here, Joe, right? That slight edge over Baruch?
Yeah, I'd say so, but really should have circled the winner in each race. That would have helped on the meet program. That's what you need a producer for.
Yes, you do. We a third person would help, kind of running around, but not quite needed. Would help.
It adds a lot of depth to the stream. Certainly does. That third body, though, makes it a lot easier, I think. My job, anyway. I think we're only a couple of minutes, Joe, for perhaps stepping off headset. Typically, they do have award winners as well, and we haven't even begun to introduce them yet. Here we go. Here we go.
Attention, please. There is a Roberts Wesleyan parka and a water bottle. If you are missing a parka and a water bottle, please report to the head table.
They did not just get our hopes up like that for a missing parka and a water bottle.
That's right, a missing parka and a missing water bottle.
Is everyone leaving?
No, a lot of people are still here in front of us, yeah.
Well,
we were seated, so that's why we really couldn't.
Someone tell us who's the winner. The suspense ever building here inside the Sunny Werblin Rec Center. But when suspense turns to restlessness, the crowd turns on you very fast.
Ain't it the truth, Joe? Ain't it the truth?
An awesome truth it is.
All right, fans, it is now time.
Is it time for us to step away?
I believe so.
Swimming and diving conference award ceremony. Here are your final team scores. First on the women's side, 9th place with 77 points, SUNY Maritime College. In 8th place with 395 points, Hunter College. In 7th place with 410 points, Brooklyn College. In 6th place with 511 points, John Jay College. In fifth place with 696 points, Mount St. Mary College. In fourth place with 789 points, Sarah Lawrence College. In third place with 958 points, Gordon College. Your runner-up with 995 points, Baruch College. And your winner for the woman with 1,039 points, Roberts Wesleyan University. Here are the final team scores on the men's side. In 8th place with 52 points, Sarah Lawrence College. In 7th with 228, Lehman College. In 6th with 437 points, Mount St. Mary College. In 5th with 569 points, SUNY Maritime College. In 4th with 670 points, Brooklyn College. In 3rd with 697 points, Gordon College. Runner-up on that side with 1,238 points, Roberts Wesleyan University. And now, your next champion on the men's side with 1,567 points, Baruch College. And now it's time to announce the rookies of the meet. For the woman from Roberts Wesleyan, Kara Jo Military. your men rookie of the meet from Roberts Wesleyan, Tanner Pinto. And now for the swimmers of the meet. Your women's swimmer of the meet from Roberts Wesleyan, Maya Webb. And now the men's swimmer of the meet from Roberts Wesleyan, Anthony Peterson. And now it's time to present the divers of the meet, being honored with the Joe Stats Award. The woman diver of the meet from Roberts Wesleyan, Emma Dicka. And your men diver of the meet from Roberts Wesleyan, William Rugenberg. Have your attention, please. It's now time to present the Dick Konpecki Outstanding Senior Award. This year's women's recipient from Gordon College, Grace Hedge-Hinnestad. from the men recipient of the Dick Krupecki Outstanding Senior Award from Mount St. Mary College, Jackson Lerner. Now for the Diving Coach of the Year. This year's recipient on both the women's and men's side, from Roberts Wesleyan, Jackie Boyes. And now for the Swim Coaches of the Year. Your Women's Swim Coach of the Year from Roberts Wesleyan, Sarah Smith. And the Men's Swim Coach of the Year from Baruch, Charlie Lempasso. That concludes our awards ceremony and the 2025 Metropolitan Collegiate Swimming and Diving Conference Championships. Thank you for your attendance and support throughout the
And we are back for one final time here on the PDF Sports Network. Your 2025 Met Swimming and Diving Conference champions on the women's side, Roberts Wesleyan University. On the men's side, Baruch College. You just got a look at our awards ceremony and, of course, the reading off of the point totals and the announcement of our two winning teams. Joe, it went the way that we thought it was going to before they made the announcement. We kind of had it calculated in our heads just a bit. You never really know, but we felt like we knew based on today's results that the Red Hawks and the Bearcats would come out on top in what was a very entertaining meet all weekend long. Both teams with a tremendous performance. The Red Hawks nearly sweeping the awards as well after the fact. So a really great weekend for Roberts Wesleyan, but a great show put on by all of these teams here at the Sunny Werblin Recreation Center, and I had a blast calling it.
Absolutely, Joe. So congratulations to everybody representing Roberts Wesleyan University on both the women's and the men's side. Overall, one of the top programs that showed this weekend. All the schools got love. But it was the Baruch men taking home the men's side of things and the women's side of things from Roberts Wesleyan. So once again, Joe, as we mentioned before, we concluded over here. This is my first time here. Hopefully it becomes a tradition for me. Had a really, really great time. Hospitality really great here at Rutgers. We thank them as always. The fourth year PDF Sports Network coming here to the Rec Center over here to cover this event. Let's do it again next year. We'll see.
I have a feeling we just might be here again in 2026. But until then, congratulations to this year's conference champions, the Red Hawks of Roberts Wesleyan University, who are about to take a plunge into the pool. Baruch already took their plunge into the pool as the award winners were being announced. But the Red Hawks now about to begin their celebration of a conference championship on the women's side, plus a plethora of additional individual accolades and NCAA qualifying performances as well. So great weekend in more ways than one for Roberts Wesleyan. Congratulations as well to the men of Baruch College and to all of the individual award winners who were just announced as well. And Joe, I think the coaches are about to take the plunge too.
Absolutely, as they should. So this is, I guess, the equivalent, right, of the Gatorade bath?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I can tell you right now, there's no way I'd be going in there. Maybe if I ditch the shoes.
Yeah, there you go.
Congratulations to Roberts Wesleyan. Congratulations to
Baruch.
Thank you to the Mets Swimming and Diving Conference for bringing us back, and thank you to everyone who has tuned in all weekend long and offered their kind words and their appreciation to us here at the PDF Sports Network. We hope that you get to hear from us again next year, but until then, this has been Joe Foreman alongside my broadcast partner, Joe Calabrese. And if you like what you saw tonight, there is plenty more to come on the PDF Sports Network, including football. Coming up in the near future will be our red versus white scrimmage. The New York Crusaders host that game each and every year. You can be sure to check that out here on the PDF Sports Network. It is their 4th annual intra-squad game. That will be here on PDF on March 9th. We also have plenty of podcast offerings, video podcasts. Joe, you're very familiar with one of these shows.
I'm very, very familiar with this. So now playing on the PDF Sports Network, Way Too Early.
With Pat Bleasy.
With Pat Bleasy.
Coach Patterson.
We have the original sports podcast. And then we have All to Turf Talk and
AAL2 Turf Talk coming soon. You should have left it to me, Joe, but it's okay.
Okay.
Introduce our Wednesday show.
And
you know that one very well.
We know that one very well. You know I'm right. Co-hosted by, again, broadcast partner of the PDF Sports Network, Nick Durst. I'm yours truly. So we thank the PDF Sports Network for bringing You Know I'm Right aboard. You can catch those great pro shows on the network Sundays and weeknights, Wednesdays and Thursdays. So once again, Joe, thank you again for having me yesterday. Thank you again for having me today. I had a great time. This is the first time I did this. I think it went well. Look forward to having more of these opportunities in the future with you guys. We love everything you're doing.
All right, Joe, thank you for your assistance this weekend. Thank you to everyone who watched all weekend long, and we hope to see you next year back at the Mets Championship. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your Sunday night.